4 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And then in Spring Hill, got a vehicle fire blocking the right lane. 65 southbound near 840. Sylvan Park, police reporting a crash. 40 westbound after White Bridge Pike, Briley Parkway West. And in Berry Hill, right lane blocked by a crash. TDOT's reporting 65 northbound past Armory Drive. Police reporting a crash 65 northbound near I-440. Looks like we just picked up another crash. This is on the West Loop downtown. The right lane is blocked by a stalled vehicle, not a crash. This is a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane. 40 westbound right before 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, kids. Welcome in, one and all. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And watch those meters there, Mason. I'll peg it out if you let me, brother. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, now.
I'm louder than these other guys.
Hey, now. I'll leave them volumes up.
No, you do what I tell you to do is what you're going to do, Mason. I'm in a mood,
all right,
and I'm not putting up with it.
Back it up.
I'm in a better humor today. I'm just telling you, you keep my rail where you keep the hands rail at, and I'm going to blow the damn speakers off this place. I'm telling you to turn it down. Otherwise, folks are going to be calling you and complaining. That's all I'm saying. Because I got some yelling to do this afternoon about a lot of stuff. Hey, guys. How are y'all? Hey, there's Ken Weaver back in News Closet. He gathers headlines for a living. What's going on, man?
Oh, President Trump just stepped out of the brand new Tesla he bought.
You know, let me tell you something. I'm thinking on it. I'm thinking on buying me one.
Oh.
I mean, I think I'd look sassy as hell in one of those Cybertrucks.
Get you one, dude.
You know? How much those Cybertrucks tow, you think?
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
I mean,
How much
the funny part about the Cybertruck is during their test, they wanted to show how much it could tow, and the back of it ripped off.
Yeah. Remember when we were all making fun of Elon because he went out on stage and he said the windows were bulletproof, and then he shot in the window and he shot through the windows. Like, well, okay, well, maybe not.
Yeah, says right here he can tow 11,000 pounds.
See, I got a camper that's 10,000 some odd pounds. I think it would tow my camper. I think a Cybertruck would tow my camper.
I bet you could pull a big old stump out of a yard.
Well, you got to dig around it first, Ken. You got to dig around that stump first.
Do you?
Yeah. If you don't dig around it, it'll rip your rear end right out, man.
Oh, well, I'm not going to try that in my Elantra.
Pull you out of the driver's seat.
Hey, Mason Fleming's back in the house. He's in the saddle. He is doing double duty today and all week long, I guess.
Yeah, I'm here to hang out.
In the absence of Chris Weber, who's not here today. He'll screen your telephone calls all afternoon long, 615-737-9986. I've decided I've got a new tagline for the Matt Murphy Show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Y'all want to hear it?
Yes.
Lay it on me.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Is everybody ready? Is everybody saddled in?
I'm ready.
All right, strap in. The Matt Murphy Show. Afternoon delight for your brain. What do you think? You don't like that?
All I can think of is the guys from the Anchorman singing Afternoon Delight.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody knows Afternoon Delight.
Yeah.
Even the kids know Afternoon Delight.
As they should.
Afternoon Delight.
My kids better not know anything about Afternoon Delight. I'll tell you that right now.
Afternoon Delight. Yeah. For your brain. So anyway, we'll try to delight your afternoon all throughout the course of the day. Courtney Johnson's going to stop by via telephone at 4:05 this afternoon, talk a little local politics. We're excited about that. We've got much to talk about coming out of Washington, D.C., not the least of which we're on Why are we on C-SPAN? Man, oh, man.
C-SPAN?
Y'all must have been watching votes earlier.
Boy, that must have been something.
I tell you what, I don't know why we got on C-SPAN today, but we got to get it over here to #NeverCNN.
I don't think there was any voting yet.
When is that happening, by the way, Ken?
It says it's supposed to happen today.
Okay.
Apparently, you got Vice President J.D. Vance out there whipping some folks into shape.
Well, I mean, obviously you're going to lose. I mean, the expectation is you can't lose two. You're going to lose one. Congressman Thomas Massey is not going to go along with any continuing resolution on a budget deal.
He's not going to do it.
That is just a fact that we have to deal with. You're also not going to get ran by. The harder question is if it gets past the House, what do you do in the Senate? Because in the Senate, you need 60 votes for this CR to pass. This is not reconciliation. This is a continuing resolution. Folks, we are dealing with a budget that was supposed to be done last September. Y'all ready? I mean, so it's not as if this is not something that hasn't been kicked down the road time and time and time again. For the most part, it was kicked down the road during the Biden administration, and Joe Biden wouldn't know that he was president of the United States if you held up a sign and, put a flashlight on it. And I mean, the guy wasn't there. Obviously, the Democrats had no interest in advancing the cause of, getting a budget that is in some semblance of reason, much less balanced. I mean, we're not even talking about a balanced budget next year. We're not even talking about a balanced budget 3 years from now. What Donald Trump has asked the president of the United States of America, a president that most of us supported, has asked a simple thing. The Democrats, by the way, are kamikaze pilots. Remember those kamikazes back in World War II? They'd come in low in their fighter planes, and you think, oh, boy, they're going to strafe the battleship. No, they're going to crash that plane right into the battleship and kill themselves in the process. Kamikazes. Suicide bombers. The Democrats are suicide bombers. They don't care about this country. They use people for votes. They use people for power and control. They will change. They have no core convictions to change. I almost said that they would change whatever conviction they claim that they have, depending on the time of day and whether it benefits them or not in terms of their struggle for power and control. They are attempting to advance an agenda where you centralize government in one place, in this case, Washington, D.C., and you eventually take over the very aspects of the daily lives of the American people through taking over the free market or capitalistic system. In other words, they are socialist, whether they know it or not. Many of them do, they won't say. Some of them don't, but they vote with them. Y'all with me so far? These are enemies of the Constitution of the United States of America. And yes, I said it. Why should we be afraid of saying the truth? Most of the Democrats and the Democrat Party do not believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. Do you? I do. We'll talk more about that when we talk about this idiot rabble-rouser potentially guilty of attempting to incite a riot out of New York and Columbia University a little bit later on in the show. So let's just start it off this way. By the way, I should mention, I got ahead of myself. It is Tuesday. It is March 11, 2025. It's episode 767. It's our Big Jet episode on the Matt Murphy Show. I don't really have, it used to be locks for Trump this, locks for Trump that. It's going to take me a while to get used to not saying that anymore, as I had a haircut yesterday, and now I'm wearing a hat today, so you can't see my haircut. But it's not a reflection on how good the haircut was. I thought the haircut was pretty good. I just dropped my pen. I just thought the haircut was pretty good. I needed to wear a hat today.
Did you get another haircut? The beard looks trimmed today.
No.
No?
I'm just in a mood. I think I have a, Mason, if I do say so myself, I got a lot done today.
Hey, that's good.
I feel like I have a shine to me.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Got a
Nice little
shine?
hue.
I think
Nice
I have
little glow.
I think I have a glow.
Way to go, Brother Murphy.
Thank you, Ken. I don't know what happened. I went
It's
to
that day after haircut glow.
maybe
That's
so.
what it
I went to
is.
physical therapy this morning.
Ooh,
Maybe that was it.
Makes you feel better.
I learned that my left shoulder has the range of motion of a 90-year-old. She didn't say that.
Goodness.
She didn't say that, but I saw it in her eyeballs. She said, just raise your right hand as high as you can raise it in the air. And I did that, right? And then she said, now do that with your left arm, which is my hurt shoulder. And it's like this. Does that hurt? Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah,
You
there's
bet
a
you
lot.
it does.
Like at one point, she was doing range of motion stuff. We were just trying to figure out what the deal is in there for the physical therapy. I'm going to have surgery. I know that I'm going to have
that's a
surgery,
bummer.
but we're going through the physical therapy to kind of build up
see
the
if you
muscles
can-
and
yeah.
and
It's like
you know
doing similar things.
satisfy insurance.
Yeah.
You know, and she at one point she's checking range of motion, lateral range of motion, and my thing popped. My shoulder like went pop, pop, pop.
Oh.
And she stopped and she said, was that your shoulder? And I said, yeah. She said, I felt it in your wrist. And I said, so did I.
Oh.
And she said, oh. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Anyway,
That's normal.
I don't know if it's not normal. I don't know if it's physical therapy or what. I don't know if it's my new headphones. You know, so yesterday we lost the headphones, and it was a big deal for me. Can I just tell you, I would not relate this story to you without it being applicable to your life. There is a reason why I make deals with the devil all the time, and that devil is named Jeff Bezos, although he's seeing the light over there at the Washington Post, I will say. That devil is Amazon.com. Let me tell you something. So my headphones went out first hour of the show, right, Mason? Yesterday, first hour?
Yes, sir.
And they
Not
were
even to the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, they were in the trash by, 4 o'clock, earlier than 4 o'clock. Sadly, 6.5 years of life, use them every Monday through Friday, every day that I'm on air. And that is a lot of life out of a set of headphones. Had a backup pair because I'm OCD like that. So I went home. When I got home last night, I put my backup pair in my bag so I didn't forget them. But at 4:15 yesterday, maybe 4:20, we were in a break. And I went ahead and went to Amazon and ordered another pair of Sony Pros.
Oh, yeah?
Because I want another backup pair.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to have a backup for the new backup.
Got to have a backup for the new backup. So now, the backup is in. It's like the backup quarterback. You're in, kid. Now's your moment to shine, but we've got to have another backup on the playing field just in case you get hurt. So I ordered them at 4:30 yesterday. I got them at 8:30 last night.
Oh, wow.
Now, I know that we have an Amazon distribution center somewhere near Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
I get that.
In the county.
I get that. But that's amazing. I ordered them from this studio at 4:30 yesterday, and I received them at 8:30 last night.
Yes, sir.
4 hours later. That's wild.
I heard something on the front stoop, and I, immediately like, who's there? Let's get the guns.
Who is it?
And then I see the Amazon truck driving away. I'm like, man, oh man, we live in amazing. I mean, say what you will, we live in amazing times.
What do you think of those electronic vans that they drive now?
I mean, it's all good. Electric, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what'd I
That
say?
too. You said electronic, I think.
Ah.
But yeah, they're
sounds
electronic.
right.
They're electronic and electric. I like them.
As long as I get my stuff, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
fair.
good, more power to them. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think they're cool.
you're sucking off the power. Let's make no mistake. You're not saving the planet. You're sucking off the power grid. But whatever. I mean, if that's the way you want to do it, I'm all about it. Free market society. Let's go. As a matter of fact, our man DJT, PG. I can't say it all. Let's try it again. Take two. DJT. What kind of Tesla did he get, Ken? Do you know?
It's
Looks
I
like
gotta look it
a
up.
Model S.
it's
Model
a
S or
red
Model
one.
3.
It's a red sedan.
Okay.
It looks like the Model S. Yeah.
Yeah, a red 4-door sedan. Trump's getting in it again.
Is he now?
When he first got out of the car, he stands there and he just goes,
By the way, Elon Musk, whenever he
nod.
talks, has started to mimic Trump now by moving his hands.
that's good.
Doing the old. It's almost Trump almost does the Miyagi wax on,
Yes.
wax off.
You say he looks like in tandem windshield wipers.
It's going to be huge. I'm not worried about tariffs. We're gonna pull back on that. Did you see Canada suspended their tariffs today? Big deal. Huge. Yeah. So yeah, Elon's doing the same thing.
He was here.
That's good.
Dallas wants you to know that the Amazon logo is the devil's tail. Okay. I thought it was an arrow pointing from A to Z. Right? That's
what I thought.
That's
yeah.
the significance of it. But apparently, no. Apparently, it's the devil's tail.
It's the devil's tail.
It's the mark of the beast.
Ah.
And all shall bow before the mark of the beast. Boop, boop. Knock on the door. Hello, your Amazon packages are here. Thank you very much. I'm old enough in this business to remember when barcodes. I had a show in Birmingham, Alabama. I had just gotten to Birmingham. And it was maybe it was probably fall of 2002. It wasn't quite September because September. No, I guess that's right. Yeah, fall of 2002. I had a show where people were calling me and telling me that barcodes, like what are they called? UPC codes, Universal Product Codes.
Yeah.
They're the mark of the beast. Maybe some people still believe that. I mean, I don't begrudge you your beliefs. Whatever. But, yeah, Amazon is I don't think Amazon's the devil. I do think Amazon is a byproduct of utilizing Amazon. Unless you are aware of it, it's getting us further and further away from a civilized society where we know our neighbors and we know human interaction. We know when my grandmother went to the buy-low. Y'all ever have a buy-low over here? Y'all know a buy-low? Buy-low is a big grocery store chain in Georgia.
I like that.
Buy-low. B-I-L-O. Buy-low. They don't spell it the way that it sounds. Buy-low. We had Buy-low and we had Piggly Wiggly and we had Winn-Dixie, but they were too expensive, according to my grandmother. Winn-Dixie was too expensive. Times have changed. But we go to the Buy-low. She knew the name of every clerk in the store.
Oh, wow.
Called them out by name. Hey, Janice. Hey, Doug. How are y'all? Hey, how are you, Miss Ann? What's going on? Not anymore. It's just a different world. Anyway, so we got lots to get into. We'll get into the continuing resolution. I'm curious where you are on that. We will obviously continue the conversation about the deportation of this rabble-rouser individual. There is simply a process that you have to go through. I thought about it last night for the last hour of the show. I'm not interested in fighting with you about it. I'm just interested in telling you where I'm at on it and getting your opinion on it. I understand you don't like it. I understand that you want the guy gone. You need to argue to change our immigration law because that's where we are. The dude got permanent resident status, and if it can be proven that he shouldn't have, let's prove that. If it can be proven that he's done things to violate that status, let's prove that. But you got to go to court to do it. You can't kick him out before you do that because whether you like it or not, people who get permanent resident status have constitutional rights, whether you like it or not. If you want to suspend all constitutional rights for all people in the United States of America, not U.S. citizens, that's fine too. But you got to go through the Constitution to do it. We are a nation of laws. We are not going to beat liberal leftist mindset, that hive mind Bravo Sierra, by becoming them. And I understand that the emotions of all of this take over. My emotions take over a lot too, and I'm as guilty as you. We're all friends in this. We can be friends in this. We don't have to argue with one another. But I beg of you to see the reason behind offering an individual due process who, rightly or wrong, if you can hate till the day is long that this dude got a green card, and I do too. I'm right there with you. Anti-American people shouldn't be getting green cards. But he got one. That horse is out of the barn. There's a process by which we get it back. And it involves the law. It doesn't involve ignoring it. 23 after the hour. There, see, I got worked up. I told you, afternoon delight for your brain on Super Talk.
Afternoon delight.
That's exactly right. Hey, by the way, Ken, real quick, if they go over to the YouTubes or the Facebooks,
yes, sir,
or the Twitter or the Twitches, if they hit like, subscribe, thumbs up, how much does that cost, folks?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It's the Murphy Show on Super Talk. All right, friends, if it's time for full-service pest control in your home, if you don't currently have a pest control provider, or you do and you're unsatisfied, I want you to call U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister, owners of U.S. Pest, have expanded their business by leaps and bounds since they've owned it. Why? Because they're the best. That's why. They simply provide superior protection than anyone else in the industry today. They do so with a 100% money-back guarantee on their full-service pest control, a 100% money-back guarantee on their termite protection, a 100% money-back guarantee on their crawl space services. Call them and ask them all about it. Now, if you're with other guys and you want to be with U.S. Pest, here's the incentive that U.S. Pest is willing to offer. They'll switch. Come over to U.S. Pest, and your first pest control service is complimentary to you. That is a $200 value just for you, just for switching to U.S. Pest. Refer a neighbor or a friend if you're already a client, and you'll receive a $50 credit on your account or a free mosquito tick and flea treatment. Call today, 590-1260, 590-1260, online at U.S. Pest. When it comes to large home repairs, I understand that it can be confusing at times who you should call. I'm trying to cut through that clutter and confusion and encourage you to call USS. That stands for United Structural Systems. Here's what they do. They offer you foundation repair if your foundation is showing signs of sagging or doing things that it ought not do. They also offer you waterproofing repair if your waterproofing issues have become a problem, where you smell musty or moldy smells. I mean, there's a lot of signs for foundation and waterproofing issues. They talk about all of them on their website, USSTN.com. I encourage you to check those out if you've noticed doors or windows sticking, if you've noticed a musty or moldy odor. These are signs that your house is really trying to tell you something, that you need to call USS. Plus, concrete leveling, you can't beat it. It is such a game changer when it comes to cost for fixing concrete issues on your property. Call USS at 615-488-7855, 488-7855, and find out how they guarantee their best at USS. Homeowners simply trust USS. Online at USSTN.com.
Ball's now in Russia's court. Details coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Ken Weaver. That is indeed true. The nation of Ukraine has accepted a ceasefire with Russia as the U.S. agrees to lift their freeze on aid. All of you screaming and yelling about, why would we freeze aid to Ukraine? Well, because you want to position yourself in a way that you're able to offer something to Ukraine additional to what you're already giving that might encourage them to come to the table of a ceasefire, which they have done, Ukraine offering that. I've not seen any word on the rare earth minerals deal, honestly.
I have not seen that either.
So I'm curious where we are on that. Last week, Volodymyr Zelensky was claiming that he was ready to sign it. Of course, he had an opportunity to sign it overseas with Treasury Secretary Besant. He did not. Had an opportunity to sign it overseas with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. He did not. Wanted to come to Washington. Well, at first, he told Besant he wanted to see Rubio. And then when he saw Rubio, he told Rubio that he wanted to see the president. And when he saw the president, let's just put it this way. It didn't go well. I think y'all might remember that a couple of Fridays ago. So now, who knows what they're waiting on? We'll find out. One way or the other, we are all anticipating a vote. We're also watching the stock market. It continues to go down 478 thereabouts points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the other two indices are down as well. Donald Trump, earlier today, and I've got some audio for you, brushing off concerns about that, saying, look, I understand that there are going to be some disruptions in the economy as we do these things to better position America permanently and down the road. But those disruptions are to be expected, and we expect them to be temporary, and we do not expect to get into a recession. That's from the President of the United States right after he got out of his beautiful red Tesla. We'll talk about that as well. It is 3:30. Time for news on Super Talk.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now, Ukraine-Russia peace negotiation update. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire to work on it.
Hopefully, we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball's now in their court.
As a result of progress in the talks with Ukrainians, the administration says it will now lift its recent pause on intelligence sharing and security assistance for Ukraine. The tough-talking Ontario Premier Doug Ford now rescinding planned 25% tariffs on electricity provided to 1.5 million Americans.
I think the Americans understand we are not their enemies. We love the Americans. It's one person that we need to deal with.
Well, Ford's change of heart comes after President Trump threatened to double to 50% tariffs on Canada's steel and aluminum. And right now in Tennessee, a bill that would allow school districts to refuse to enroll undocumented students is advancing. Supporters say school districts should be able to decide if they want to bear the full cost of taking in those students. But Luis Mata of Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition says they're going to fight it anyway.
Today we are sending that message loud and clear. We know that we send our children to school every day knowing that their right to an education is protected and secure under long-standing practice from a landmark Supreme Court case, and we will stop at nothing to defend that.
Yeah, he's referring to that 1982 SCOTUS decision that all students, no matter their status, guaranteed access to a public education. The House K-12 12 subcommittee voted 5-3 to move that bill forward to the House Education Committee. Look, Mom and Dad, TikTok has a new feature.
New TikTok features allow parents to limit the amount of time their kid spends on the popular social media app. They also provide more information about who's following their child on the platform. It marks an expansion of TikTok's existing family pairing feature, which links the app on a child's smartphone to their parents. Last year, the Justice Department sued TikTok over its policies around underage users. TikTok says the new features are designed to help teens develop the digital literacy skills they need.
That's Mike Dabusky. And the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Whites Creek police say all lanes are now open. They've got that crash off on the right shoulder, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Got a stalled vehicle over on the west loop downtown. Right lane is blocked. And in Spring Hill, we got a vehicle fire. The right lane blocked, 65 southbound near I-840. In Sylvan Park, police reporting a crash 40 westbound after White Bridge Pike and Briley Parkway West. Berry Hill, right shoulder blocked by a crash 65 northbound past Armory Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Fellas, let's talk for a moment about your health, your energy levels. I want to talk to you about Tennessee Men's Clinic. Tennessee Men's Clinic can provide you with incredible relief from some of the stress you might be having, the mental stress you might be having about your inability to get energy levels where you want them to be. Maybe it's due to middle age, maybe some other factors are included in this, one way or the other. The first step is to stop by Tennessee Men's Clinic and to check with these guys, get an appointment with them, let one of their qualified urologists check you out, tip to stern. They'll get a little blood work as well, see what the T levels are doing. You need to know your levels, right? You need to know your cholesterol. You need to know your blood pressure. You need to know your T levels. When you know your T levels, that can aid and assist you in whether or not you need to which direction you need to move to get you back right again. Whether it's intimacy in the bedroom or energy to go to the gym or to work out of doors, you need those energy levels back where they used to be. Tennessee Men's Clinic can help you. There's two locations. One's in Franklin. The original location's in Midtown. Here's the number. It's 615-208-9090. 208-9090. Call today for Tennessee Men's Clinic. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's 3:38. Pleased to have you with us. Don't let me forget, Mason, to get you Courtney Johnston's telephone number. She is a Metro Nashville City Councilor. She'll join us at 4:05 to talk about a few things going on with the city that you need to be aware of. We try to keep you up to date with all of that we possibly can. Did our music change? Did you change up the music on me?
I did nothing of the sort.
Oh, where's that coming from?
At your beds.
Oh, my beds. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know why. Never mind. Never mind, Mason. I'll leave you alone.
Hey,
my apologies.
I play what I've been given to play.
I seem to be bothering you. I just seem to mix up. I don't know. Maybe I just never hear that part of the song. Anyway, 615-737-9986. If you would like to call and yell at me, you're invited to do that. I invite you to call and yell at me. If you disagree with me, disagreement goes to the front of the line, 615-737-9986. We seem to, as a conservative/libertarian community, I've never considered myself a conservative because I'm not. I try not to lie to you, okay? And so I would call myself a libertarian with a small L, meaning I've never belonged to the Libertarian Party. I don't want to belong to the Libertarian Party. Frankly, I don't know that I want to belong to any organization or group that would have me as a member. That's a little Groucho Marx. I always like to say it's Groucho Marx because I can't just leave it like that because people will claim that I'm stealing from Groucho Marx. That's the nature of the world that we live in nowadays. I'm not trying to steal. It's an homage. That said, I am very sensitive to the rights of the individual, the citizen, or the individual in the United States of America. I'm very sensitive to your individual liberties. I'm very sensitive to your constitutional rights. And I am sensitive to the nature of a government that has the ability to, without some level of due process, deprive you of those rights. I understand that people are mad about our green card process. I understand that people are frustrated that we allowed some scumbag that apparently hates the United States of America and all of Western culture into this country. Why did we do that? Why did we do it? I don't know why we did it. I didn't have anything to do with it. But for all of you telling me that this individual is allowed no due process after becoming a legal resident of the United States by obtaining a permanent resident visa, also known as a green card. For all of you telling me that, then I have one question for you, a very simple question. I'm not trying to play gotcha. This is a serious question. You say he's a non-citizen and he can be deported, and I'm going to get to what Caroline Leavitt said earlier today in her press conference in a moment, because this question goes for her too. So you might be right that the Secretary of State, and I can understand the argument, you might be right that the Secretary of State has the ability to pull a visa or to pull residency. That's all well and good. But what I'm being told by many of you in the listening audience, you amateur legal scholars, is that he has no right to due process, that you can boot him. Well, then the question is, why haven't we done it? If the United States of America has the right to boot this scummy human being out of our country without any due process whatsoever, then I would ask you why we have not done it. Don't we want to do it? I do. Don't you want to do it? Doesn't Trump want to do it? Doesn't Rubio want to do it? Doesn't Kristi Noem want to do it? Doesn't Tom Homan want to do it? Why aren't we doing it? Because in a nation of laws, laws matter. And sometimes there is a disagreement on how those laws apply in individual circumstances. And when there is a disagreement regarding the law and what the law says about a particular matter, that disagreement is taken up where? That's right, in a court. And that is called what? That is called due process. I don't like this dude. You don't like this dude. I don't know what process we allowed under the Biden administration or otherwise. Maybe it was under the first Trump presidency. I don't know. I don't know why we got to a point where we're allowing individuals that hate the United States of America into this country, and I don't like it any more than you do. But the solution is not to become the Democrats and ignore the rule of law because you don't like somebody, or because your emotions are running high about something, or because they're anti-America. What we do is we adjudicate that individual case in a court of law according to the laws that are on the books. And we move through the Congress of the United States to start changing some of these laws. That's the way to get it done. That's the way to advance the ball. Let's stop these anti-American jerks from getting status in this country to begin with. And we can't squeeze that toothpaste back in the tube, y'all. We've got to do this the right way. Now, White House press secretary told reporters earlier today that Secretary of State Marco Rubio reserves the right to revoke former Columbia graduate student Mahmoud Khalil's green card or visa. That's good. Good. Let's do it. Let's revoke it. Leavitt said that under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or visa for individuals who are, quote, adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interest of the United States of America. Once again, it's all well and good. Let's do it. She went on to say, I should have this clip up, and I don't. I apologize. I pulled the Trump Tesla clip anyway, but I can read it to you. Leavitt, or Leavitt, I always mess up her name, said, Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming into this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges, and he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists, who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual that organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish Americans and made them feel unsafe in their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas flyers, propaganda with the logo of Hamas. That is behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. So, what are we arguing exactly? Are we arguing that you cannot present to a court? Look, I don't even know what we're arguing about, honestly. You put him before a judge. You demonstrate that he has done the things that Caroline Leavitt discussed today in the press conference. You argue that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has the right to pull the privilege of the permanent resident status, and you boot him out of the country. That's the only due process I'm talking about. What are y'all talking about? Are y'all talking about doing that? Because if y'all are talking about doing that, then we're on the same page. And let's get to the business of stopping these people who hate America from being allowed on our college campuses to begin with. Let's begin the business of having a little more extreme vetting with these individuals that are coming from these foreign countries that scream death to America. We need to start on that. How about that? How about the first question and the last question asked on any of these visa applications should be about your love of this country? And the first question that an individual that is vetting this application should ask themselves is, this person that's sitting in front of me, are they going to benefit the United States of America in a positive way? And if the answer is no, you don't let them in. Whether it's to be a student or a business person or a skilled laborer or an unskilled laborer, everything we do in terms of our immigration policy should be designed to benefit the United States of America. And we have lost our way somewhere. And once again, you don't squeeze that back in the tube by skipping the due process that individuals who are in this country legally are afforded and booting them out. These are the reasons that you would boot them out. Caroline Leavitt laid them out. Well, a judge has to determine, someone has to determine that he was guilty of that. Otherwise, every person, and maybe y'all feel this way. So you're telling me that every person that comes to the United States of America through a green card can be booted out of the country for no reason whatsoever by the Secretary of State. Maybe that's the position that some are taking. I would suggest that the way that you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish is through a change of our immigration policies and laws, not throwing those laws off the boat and watching them sink in the ocean. I don't think that's the way to get it done. In the meantime, this guy seems to be having a little fun.
Which one did you buy? Yeah. Which one did you buy?
The one I like is that one.
And how does this work?
And I want that same color.
Are you going to put down a credit card? Elon, would you take a personal check from the president?
I do it the old. I give checks. Sure.
Donald Trump says he does it the old-fashioned way. He gives checks.
You know, I like a check better than this modern system of all of a sudden there's money in your account. Nobody knows. I like signing a check. Sort of.
Yeah, he likes signing that check.
And I don't
There's Donald Trump. He's buying a Tesla out in front of the White House today. Had a Cybertruck out there. I would have gone with the Cybertruck myself, but he went with the red sedan. He said he kind of liked that one. He had a few other things to say outside of the White House. Once again, y'all tell me where you think I'm wrong. I'm here for the conversation. I'm here for the conversation. I fear that if we cannot talk amongst ourselves about minor differences that we might have about these things, we've reached a point in society where I see a lot of purity conservatives acting like Democrats, where instead of engaging in a polite discussion about issues, you run away and suck your thumb. I'm not down for that. Tim is next in Nash. Hey, Tim, what's going on?
You mean Ken?
Oh, I'm sorry. It said Tim. I apologize sincerely.
Okay. You can call me anything you want to. It doesn't really matter. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Well, is it Ken? Is that the K-E-N? Okay. Well, hey, Ken, what's up?
Well, I'm listening to your shows quite a bit, and it seems like we have too many political parasites. So I went ahead and filed to run as an independent with the Federal Election Commission. It'll be the second time I ran for Congress in the state of Tennessee, and I'll be the oldest person, son, and incumbent to ever run for office. But, I think the problem is we have one party with two names. And everything you say is just about as correct. I agree with it because we're supposed to be a nation of laws, and we're supposed to adhere to the Constitution if you serve. But I think that too many politicians have become masters rather than servants. And what bothers me most of all is the fact they have these outlandish retirement funds, and that gives them an incentive to keep running for office. They make a career out of running for office. If you do it with the retirement funds and with the perks, get rid of most of the lobbyists. Get rid of all the lobbyists if you can. Get rid of as many as you can. And you took away maybe one half of their staff and make it something that's reasonable, and don't treat them like celebrities but like servants, what they should be, and kill their incentive to running for office. We probably could do a lot better and have people running for office that's for the benefit of the people and the country. And I don't see that. I see that they're pretty much the same. I mean, whatever benefits the Democrat that's running for office also benefits the Republican and vice versa. It seems like that they all want to benefit each other rather than the people. We have a pro-Marxist income tax. I mean, if you read the 10 planks of communism, you see the progressive or graduated income tax is the second plank in the 10 planks of communism. Public education.
I'm in favor of a consumption tax, Ken. National consumption tax. Fair tax.
Just tariffs.
Well, I understand that position.
I understand yours.
I don't think you can generate nearly as much money as you need in modern society, unless the people are willing to see dramatic cuts in certain aspects of services, and unless we eliminate the Social Security and Medicaid systems.
No, but
I don't think you can. I don't think you could tariff your way to covering.
Not 100%. You're right. I agree. Not 100%, but. Yeah. A national sales tax is better than an income tax. I mean, you're not.
No question about that. Y'all research fair tax. I'm a big proponent of the fair tax.
I think Bork wrote a book.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. I read it. Yeah. I interviewed him.
Yeah, I did too. And then we have this unleash of all this currency. I mean, we have fiat currency. It's totally worthless. It has no underlying value whatsoever. And we had one president try to get us off that in recent history. That was JFK. Executive Order 11110 was going to get us back on the silver standard, but no, That didn't last very long because he was assassinated. And then we have this private bank that controls the supply of the currency.
Yeah, just bottom line it for me because I've got to run. I'm late for a timeout. But
have a good day.
Oh, you do too. Call us back anytime, Ken. I got distracted. 6232 over on the super text line said, "You lost me, dude. F you." Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I asked how. I don't know if I'll get an answer or not. Because I've read permanent resident visa standards, because I've read violations of those standards that would result in your deportation or revocation of your green card, because I understand that while Marco Rubio, I don't disagree with what Caroline Leavitt said today at all. But if you demonstrate that there has been a violation of the aspects of what they talked about, don't you have to have a court to determine that? That's the due process we're talking about. I don't understand. I don't understand what people who are arguing with me are arguing about. We have a process for immigration. You can disagree with that process of immigration. I do. I want to immigrate far fewer people in this country than we are. But the immigration process is what it is. You don't just today decide you're going to ignore what the laws say about it and boot all of their asses out of the country. You become lawless if you do that. Do y'all want to be lawless? Because believe it or not, eventually a Democrat's going to have power again, and they're going to use it against you. Sorry, I didn't mean to get worked up. Didn't mean to get worked up. Time for a break, 54 after the hour. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and Cover Nash wants to ask you a few questions. Actually, Shane Ring, who owns and operates Cover Nash, wants to ask you a few questions. It's as simple as this. Are you satisfied with your insurance? If the answer is no, you need to talk to Shane today. You need to give him a call. You need to sit down with him. You need to go over some of the programs available for you to help you out of that situation. Number two, are you paying too much? If you don't know the answer to that question, or if the answer is yes, you need to call Shane too, because he can shop every coverage, every insurance on the market today and find you the right insurance for you and your family. He can get you a health care plan that pays you, not the other way around. Don't get taken advantage of. Don't overpay. Take control of your money and your health coverage, managed by you, not by the government. Let's talk to Shane Ring today about coverage that you can believe in, health coverage that works for you. It's Cover Nash. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023, 465-0023 for Cover Nash.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now, Ukraine has agreed to terms of a 30-day ceasefire as part of larger negotiation to end the war with Russia. President Trump commented later outside the White House as he expects to speak with Moscow to okay the deal.
Ukraine, ceasefire, just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also. And we can get this show on the road.
Here's James Longman in Kyiv.
This is the big sentence in this statement. It said, subject to acceptance and concurrent implementation by the Russian Federation. The United States will communicate to Russia that Russian reciprocity is the key to achieving peace. So, look, big questions because Vladimir Putin has said he doesn't want a ceasefire. He's demanded 4 regions of Ukraine as what he wants to get out of this war. He's demanded that Ukraine never joins NATO. So we'll have to wait and see.
Trade war update. Ontario is now backing down on that 25% tariff on electricity supplied to 1.5 million Americans after President Trump threatened to double to 50% tariffs on Canada's steel and aluminum. Canada now says they're suspending that electricity tariff. Here in Tennessee, state lawmakers advancing a bill to give school districts a choice: enroll illegal immigrant children or require tuition. Channel 4's Stacey Cameron reports the reasoning behind it.
The bill's sponsor in the House, William Lamberth, he says he wants Tennessee to pass this law, hoping it gets challenged. And that 40-year-old case saying undocumented students have an equal right to education, they want it overturned. But why? Well, Lamberth and other Republicans say because some school districts can't afford to pay the cost of educating these undocumented kids. And right now, Tennessee schools, they say, can't even ask about a student's immigration status. So Tennessee, they say, has no idea how many undocumented students are here and what the total bill to educate them is.
Now, Democrats say it's racist. The bill passed the House K-12 subcommittee today and was referred to the full House Education Committee. Elsewhere in Middle Tennessee, no need for next week's trial in the 2022 murder of Maya Fuller of Murfreesboro. The person authorities claim pulled the trigger, Tiana Tipton, unexpectedly pleaded guilty to 2 charges in a Wilson County courtroom today: premeditated first-degree murder and first-degree murder. She was immediately sentenced to 2 life prison terms. The remaining co-defendants, 20-year-old Tyshawn Bowles and 20-year-old Lamira Pipkins, still expected to go to trial. Officials said the next hearing for them will be May 6th. Maya Fuller's body was found in Wilson County just days after she was reported missing after going to an Antioch nightclub after working an event at Geodis Park. She had been shot 7 times. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, drivers, let's check the situation out there trying to get home. I see 840 westbound past Carter's Creek Pike in Williamson County. You got a stalled vehicle. Right lane is blocked, TDOT says. Whites Creek got a crash. Right shoulder blocked, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard North. And then in Berry Hill, police reporting a crash 440 eastbound right before I-65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm going to try to be calmer and gentler during this hour of the show because I've been accused of yelling at my listeners. I'm not yelling. I always talk like this. I have a shirt that says it. It is 7 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. We have, I'm going to focus on this today. Courtney Johnston will be with us another day. I have decided to, I want to put her in studio with us so that we can talk about a couple of Nashville issues. I might get to a few Nashville issues today, but I did not want to rush Courtney. Plus, I wanted to continue having this conversation with you. And I'm going to try to do so in a more reasonable fashion. I get very upset. I get very frustrated. I get worked up because I believe that this country is all we've got when it truly comes to freedom and liberty. And that means having to swallow hard and watch things that you don't particularly like work themselves out when your emotions tell you that you want it to work out in a different way. And I don't really understand where we're disagreeing on this, except that there are some people. So let me reset what we're talking about. The position of the executive branch and the position of the White House, Donald Trump, is that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals that are in violation of that green card or that visa. If you are here to tell me that a person that holds a green card or a visa but is not a United States citizen, does not have any right, I understand they don't have the same rights as a citizen. But if your argument is that they don't have any rights at all under the Constitution, I would just suggest that you're wrong. As you read the Constitution of the United States of America, understand that words mean things, and I am an originalist when it comes to this. And the founding fathers of this country could have said citizen in the Fifth Amendment, and they didn't. They said person. And they used the word citizen quite a bit in the Constitution of the United States. And so they knew what that meant. And they used the word person in the Constitution of the United States, and they knew what that meant. And they used these words when they used them on purpose. And so in the Fifth Amendment, when it says no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life and limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, or deprived life, liberty, or property, or deprived life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That means person. Well, we cannot like that. That's okay. We cannot like it. But that doesn't mean that it isn't written there. We don't get to change it when we don't like it because we don't like it. My entire point is this. I believe that this scumbag that was at Columbia that organized these protests, I believe the protests should have been shut down by the university. I believe the protests should have been shut down by the city. I mean, I can go over and over again what I think went wrong in this case. And I do believe that I have called for on my radio show repeatedly a 12-month minimum moratorium on all immigration to the United States of America. I've called for that repeatedly. That we have to give ourselves time to get the southern border under control, although we're doing a better job of that than I thought we would so quickly. We've got to get that under control. More importantly, we've got to get those illegal aliens that are in the country out of the country. More importantly, we've got to get those bad guys that are in the country out of the country. More importantly, we've got to get those people that want to do us harm that potentially have come here legally, like this fella, out of the country. And there's a process by which you do that. So I suppose the only thing we're arguing about is that there are some that are arguing that there should be no due process for this individual. I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be kicked out. Maybe some are misunderstanding that. What I'm arguing is that there is a process by which you do it. And if a judge, whether we like it or not, and if we want to change the rules on the judges, we need to change the rules on the judges. And if we want to limit, the Congress of the United States of America has to do that. I'm not yelling. The Congress has to do that. If you want to limit the jurisdiction of judges in a way that we have not previously done, we can do that. But there's a process by which we do that too. The rule of law is the most important thing to protect here because the only protection that we have in our individual liberties and individual rights is through the rule of law. I suppose the argument is that persons meant citizen. However, in the 14th, they used the word citizen and then went back to the word person when talking about due process. The 14th says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state in which they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. Why do you think they changed? They said citizens first, and then they said persons. Why do you think they did that? You think they meant citizen and they just didn't say it? So, to synopsize, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Should this scumbag have been in the United States? No. Should we relook at how we allow these student visas to occur? Yes. Should we stop automatic green card legality through marriage? Yeah. We should relook at all of the ways we allow immigration to come into the United States. I believe we should declare a 12-month moratorium on all immigration to the United States of America until we figure out some of these policies and procedures that better reflect what we want to be as a country. Number two, has this individual done enough to give Secretary of State Marco Rubio the authority to kick him out? Yes, I believe that that is the case. But in the American system of justice, that is to be decided in a court. And that's due process for this person. Not a citizen, a person. Is that some sort of wild position that I'm taking? Where someone on the super text line says, I'm done with you, F you? I suppose. Y'all tell me where you're at on it. Or, I mean, the only alternate position that I can understand fully is that anyone that immigrates to the United States of America that has not fully become a citizen, that they can have their status in this country revoked at the determination of a State Department official, and they can be removed from the nation at any point without any sort of recourse in a court of law. Maybe that's what y'all are arguing. That because if the Secretary of State, if Marco Rubio comes here today and he says, and I'm a legal resident, and he says, hey, you got to get out. And I'll say, I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, I think you've done some things wrong. You've said some things that I don't like. Wait a minute, I've not done anything wrong. I want to talk to somebody about this. I've not violated any of the law. Yeah, you violated the law. Does that feel right? So, I mean, no. I mean, he's getting due process. I don't know what else. I don't know why people are so angry about what's happening right now. He's going to go before a judge. And as the federal government presents their case, they're going to present the information that he was spreading around the Columbia University campus. And when they do, he's going to be removed from this country, rightly so. I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be. My argument is simply that the Secretary of State does not have the authority to do that without him having the ability to challenge what they claim he did in court. All persons in the United States of America have that ability. All persons shall not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Joe is on the road. Hey, Joe, what do you know?
What do you say, Brother Matt? How are you? It's fine, beautiful day.
And it's gorgeous. I'm great, man.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I just want to give you a big shout out. I appreciate your passion. I've been accused of being loud and passionate myself, and when you're a mix of Italian and Irish, you do the math on passion. But I think you're making a sound argument, and I don't think you're wrong, legally speaking. I'd be curious to see what the actual the verbiage is when you apply for your green card, meaning what's allowed, what's not allowed. Being in this country is a privilege. If you're not a citizen, it's not a right. It's like a driver's license. And so I think you're correct. He's here legally, so he is afforded due process. But I'd be curious to see what the actual verbiage says on green card paperwork. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had it up a minute ago, and I'm trying to find it.
And while you're looking for that, one of the previous callers, the fellow who was talking about being the oldest person to run for office, I came across something very interesting that I think that you would also find very interesting, being libertarian small L. I am finding myself, I'm very, very conservative, Christian, college-educated, white male. I mean, heck, dude, I even work full-time for a disaster response ministry. So, that's where I'm at with things. But I came across something very interesting today. And if you would have your vast staff there, as our dear departed brother, Uncle Phil, used to say, if you would just Google Steve Forbes tax plan.
Yeah, Steve Forbes was a big proponent of the flat tax, wasn't he?
He very much was, and it was very simple. I seem to remember a presidential primary debate, I believe, where he basically walked out and had basically like an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of paper, and they said, "Well, what's that?" He said, "That's my tax form." And I mean, it was, this is how much you made. This was your deduction. This is what you owe taxes on, and that was it. You got your standard deduction, which I think back then was, I want to say it was $13,000. But of course, this is $2,000, so that's very different than $25. But the gist of it was his tax rate worked out to about 17%. And on that, the United States would grow their economy, and they would be able to reduce the national debt by over 60% over, I forget what it was. I want to say it was 10 years. Bearing in mind the national debt in his forecast.
Right, it was like 8 trillion or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
$5.5 trillion.
my biggest concern about the biggest issue that I have, and I don't have an issue with a flat tax. I think it's better than the gradient system that we have now. Joe, thank you for the call and thank you for the kind words. I am more in favor of a consumption tax or a fair tax because it does not penalize individuals for being successful. And I believe that the income tax, even at a flat rate, does that. And I disagree with taxing one's earned income on principle. I just do. So if you tax consumption, it seems that I have a far better way to control the levels of taxation that I'm going to encounter. But I don't have a disagreement with that. But I would encourage you to look up the fair tax. Fair tax has been around for a long time. John Linder and Neil Bortz wrote a great book advocating for it, and I was a big proponent of it back then. Sadly, it is not going to happen anytime soon because it takes away power from the K Street lobbyist. Billy and Steve will get to you first. Your call's coming up as well. I am interested in your disagreements on this point, on this issue of due process. Look, I think most of us agree that this dude, by the way, for Joe, real quick, criminal activity, including aggravated felony, drug trafficking, firearms, domestic violence, and the like, fraud and misrepresentation, failure to maintain residency or national security concerns, and the violation that this dude has been accused of is the national security concern. Individuals with ties to terrorism or posing a threat to national security are likely to have their visa or green card applications denied or revoked, and that's what we're following up on through the due process that he's currently engaged in. 23 after the hour on Super Talk. Got some of those bad boys off. Got to do that promo over again. I still have beautiful locks, though. It's true. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm. They specialize in physical security consultation and active violence mitigation right here in Middle Tennessee. Their clients include schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, churches, manufacturing facilities, corporate headquarters, entertainment venues, and much, much more. Cumulus Nashville, as a matter of fact, utilized this technology for a couple of years running and utilized this training program and training protocols. And let me tell you, it works. And it was so good that I went through the TECC course with Brink and his team at Defend Systems. And it's such valuable information involving what to do if you find yourself in a negative situation. You know what? It's not my plan to ever be in a situation where guns are being fired. But if we are, I know what to do from a Second Amendment standpoint, and I know what to do from a dangerous standpoint and a medical standpoint. Thank you to Defend Systems. Don't forget about their God-Fearing Gun Owners website, godfearinggunowners.com, godfearinggunowners.com, or go to defendsystems.com for more information about the good people of Defend Systems. Call today, 615-236-6484.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
A bill is advancing in the General Assembly to allow school districts enroll illegal immigrant students and charge tuition or not, or simply not enroll them. That story and more coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 4:28 right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you. Hello. Just cruising through our Tuesday edition. Glad to have you with us. Donald Trump cruising in a Tesla earlier today. He was sitting in the front seat there with Elon Musk on the White House lawn. We'll talk about that coming up. Talk about some Nashville politics in a couple of minutes as well. And we will discuss what to do about the continuing resolution. It is a bad slate of affairs. It's a bad state of affairs. I don't know if this is the time to dig heels in or not. I understand Thomas Massey's going to do what Thomas Massey's going to do, but I'm concerned that now's not the time to fire all those bullets, so to speak. Billy is next up in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Billy.
Hey, yesterday I was the caller at the end of your show you couldn't get to, and so I called back today. I just want to say that I'm almost 67 years old. I'm a veteran of the military. And my greatest honor when I was in the military would have been if I ever did have to lay down my life for my country, and it still would be. But I feel that this young man from Columbia University, I mean, he wasn't just a person that was participating in the protest. He was one that organized protests, intimidated people, actually assaulted some people, and terrorized some people. That last one there, terrorized, makes him a terrorist. He needs to be gone, irregardless of his green card status or not, because he could have lied on those forms to get in and do whatever he wanted to do.
Billy, thank you for your service and thank you for the telephone call. How do you the question then becomes, because I don't disagree with you that he needs to go. How do we get him out?
Well, he is a terrorist. Take him to Guantanamo Bay or take him out. Either way, you want to take him out.
So you think we should just shoot him?
Yeah, I wouldn't cry a tear over it with the way he has done, and it might set an example to a lot of these people that are like-minded to him to watch how they treat other people in this country.
I don't know that the American government should go about shooting people without due process, Billy.
I'm letting go the trial, and then basically what he did is treason. Punishment for treason is
Well,
death.
I mean, sure. I mean, if you take him to trial and you give him his due process and it's determined that he committed an act of treason against the United States of America or an act of out-and-out conflict against the United States of America, inciting the riots that he incited at the camp. I mean, and if a jury in good standing declares him guilty and sentences him to death, then, yeah, kill him. But that's different than just, quote-unquote, shooting him.
Well, I said it hastily, but yeah, I do think.
I mean, no, I get it.
I do think either way they can get rid of him. I wouldn't shed a tear over it.
Well, and maybe I'm just over elaborating. I don't know, Billy, but the way that you get rid of him is getting him in front of a judge, demonstrating that he did all of those things that we watched him do about a year ago, giving the judge the evidence, and then booting him out of the country. That's the way you do it. That's the due process that I'm talking about. Thank you for your service, Billy. I appreciate you. Apologies for being a little bit late for Kim, but wanted to make sure we got that call in there with a great United States veteran. It is 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, a bill is advancing in the General Assembly that gives school districts the option of enrolling illegal immigrant students and charging tuition or not charging tuition, or districts can refuse to enroll them altogether. House Majority Leader William Lambert.
With this bill, there is nobody that will force any school district to disenroll even one child. It is entirely their decision once they've at least have the information before them and can make the decision.
So this bill requires families to provide documentation that the student is a citizen of the U.S. in the process of obtaining citizenship or holds a legal immigration or visa status. Still, Democrats like Knoxville State Rep Sam McKenzie claim it's racist.
So, is it bigoted? I think if you look at it at its face, it's attacking one segment of our population.
Well, the bill passed out of the House K-12 Education Subcommittee with a referral to the full House Education Committee. President Trump says his administration will be speaking to Moscow now that Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire to work toward a peace deal with Russia.
Ukraine, ceasefire, just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road.
As a result of progress in the talks with the Ukrainians, the administration says it will now lift its recent pause on intelligence sharing and security assistance for Ukraine. Ontario is backing down from imposing 25% tariffs on electricity it provides some Americans after President Trump threatened a retaliatory 50% tariff on Canada's steel and aluminum. And in our nation's capital, now it's Democrats who risk getting blamed for shutting down the federal government if they don't agree to the budget resolution to keep it funded through summer. This was Massachusetts Congresswoman Catherine Clark moments ago on the House floor.
Eggs at my grocery store on Sunday were $8.49 a dozen. In this bill, you propose to take $27 million away from the inspectors who go out to our chicken farms who are fighting and trying to stop bird flu.
That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. White's Creek still showing police working a crash that is on the right shoulder now. All lanes are open, but you got the right shoulder blocked, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard North. Berry Hill got a crash, right lane blocked, 440 eastbound before 65. And then debris blocking the two center lanes, 65 southbound right before 24 north, exit 88. And in Williamson County, got a stalled vehicle, right lane blocked, 840 westbound past Carter's Creek Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Your property taxes are going up if you live in Davidson County soon. Well, I said that inartfully. Your property taxes are going up soon if you live in Davidson County, I believe. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. It's 39 after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also, it's spring break this week, despite the fact that it's not yet spring. Maybe that's why I'm so salty. I don't know. 615-737-9986. That's 615-737. Oh, pain in the chest. I just got a pain in the chest. Oh, no. Am I having a heart attack on the radio? I don't think so. Stand down. It's not really a heart attack. Stand down. There is a pain in the chest, though. Gosh. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. I know I get worked up, but I've never had a heart attack on the air. But there's always today. Let's see. 78. Now, see, the super, talk about salty. The super text line is salty today, too. And I don't know if it's because we have some mild disagreement about, where due process begins and where it ends. But they're even coming after Ken now. I mean, poor Ken Weaver. You're taking shrapnel from me, Weaver.
What's happening?
Well, I'm taking a lot of heavy fire on the super text line.
Yes, sir.
And I think you're getting some of my shrapnel.
Oh, what did it say?
Come on, Ken. Even numbered interstates don't run north and south. I don't know what that means.
That's a traffic report.
Oh, okay.
That's probably 840.
Stupid 840. Yeah. 840 runs, I guess,
That runs east and west.
It does, but
I don't know why. I don't think I said north or south on 840.
One of the things.
But it's possible.
One of the things I had to first learn when I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, is that here in Middle Tennessee, they don't like you using the numbers on the roads. Right? I mean, outside of like I-24 or I-65 or I-40, interstates, sure.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about Nolensville Pike, you better not say 41.
No, sir.
Or 31. Is it 31 or 41? I forget. If you're saying Murfreesboro Pike is 41. I think Nolensville Pike's 31. You better not say 70 if you're talking about Charlotte Pike.
Yeah.
You say Charlotte Pike. And it's Charlotte Pike.
Yeah, you'll get some people, they'll let you know.
You're mad, man.
I've gotten my fair amount of getting chewed out by the textures from doing traffic in the afternoons before.
Saying numbers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When I first started, I was like, yeah, it's number 41. And they're like, no.
Oh, it's not. Murfreesboro Road. Murfreesboro Pike. So the first one to politely tell me that when I was here was the redheaded stranger. She was still doing news in the afternoons, Pamela Furr. And she two things. I mean, it was like second day, man. Number one is it's not Maury County. It's Murray County.
It's Murray.
We don't care how it's spelled. And number two, we don't say the numbers around here. We say the roads. Okay. I'm all in.
I invite you boys to move to New Mexico and do radio.
Oh, yeah?
How's that?
They didn't like Brother Ken Weaver for a while.
Why not?
Well, I went there fresh out of Oklahoma, and I did not understand any type of pronunciation of English vowels in New Mexico.
Well, they use too many of them, kid.
Yeah. Santa Fe? No, sir. That's not Santa Fe. That's Santa Fe.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
Holy moly.
So then I said Santa Fe, and then my news director calls me and chews me out.
I mean, Albuquerque has like 4 too many vowels in it.
It's got a whole bunch.
It's got a lot of them. There's only like 3 consonants in the whole word.
Yeah. Albuquerque.
4 consonants.
I'll tell you what. And I thought the roads out there in New Mexico, I've been in New Mexico a time or two.
Yeah, there's no traffic in New Mexico.
Oh, my Lord have mercy. Well, you top a hill, and it's just straight till you get to the next hill.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking, and it's way over there.
Yeah.
Like, way over, as far as you can see over there.
Now, I mean, Albuquerque, they'll get their brake tapping, to get home, but it ain't nothing like it is here.
No.
Good old 24.
I never.
They got 25.
Do they?
In Albuquerque.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, boy, that's 24 plus 1?
Yeah.
That's 24 with a little crack rock sprinkled in. Same amount of refrigerators, same amount of couch cushions. Just a little crack rock sprinkled in there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah,
right in between El Paso and Denver. I wonder what goes on that interstate.
Plenty of space out there for trailers and little Bunsen burners and whatever else they're doing out there.
All kinds of things.
Steve is on the road, and he wants to talk about green cards. Hey, Steve, what's up?
How you doing, Matt? Currently heading towards Lebanon. Immigration is a civics law, and if you are illegal and you were with Biden and you got your warrant or writ to appear in court and you failed to do so, now it becomes a criminal fail to appear. So now we need the U.S. Marshals and the FBI and the National Guard to all go out and grab all these people that missed their court dates and have due process.
Okay. Are you just making a general statement about legal versus illegal when it comes to status in the United States, or are we talking specifically about this Columbia student?
Well, he was given the privilege to become a legal resident by getting his green card.
Right. He got married.
Well, he violated that privilege just as if you had Dad's car and you did something that Dad didn't want you to do, i.e. drag racing on Murfreesboro Pike, well, Dad took the car away.
Well, no, if I use your analogy, the one thing that I would take exception with, I'm not arguing with it. I just, in your case, Dad is not just the executive branch to enforce the laws. Dad is also the judicial branch that interprets the laws. In the case of the legal system, you have a separate branch of government that is there to satisfy disputes in court. That is called due process. And legal residents who have their status challenged have the ability to go to the court system and challenge whatever they're being accused of.
I understand, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the same time, if you had a court date and you missed it, or if you violated a law that...
Oh, sure. I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I don't disagree with it, but the courts have to be involved in some way.
I'm not
argument...
taking the courts away, Matt.
What now?
I'm not taking the courts away.
I don't understand how what you're saying... I mean, maybe I'm missing how it applies in this particular case in Columbia. But, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, that if you are afforded an opportunity to demonstrate your legal status and you miss that court date, then that can be considered, I suppose, that can turn it into a de facto judgment against you is what it ought to do. And then you, upon the next time you are picked up, are assumed to be in the country illegally. And like other individuals in the country illegally, you can be immediately deported.
Yes.
Right. So if you have we're on the same page, Steve. Steve's saying if you have legal status in the country and you have an opportunity to demonstrate your legal status for whatever reason, and you choose to miss that court date, then that to me is a de facto judgment against you. You had an opportunity to appear in court. You did not. And then if you have a de facto judgment against, it's not my understanding that this Columbia dude did that in this case, though. And if I missed that, then sincerely, I apologize, but I don't think I would have. 615-737-9986. It's Susan in Portland. Hey, Susan. How are you?
Afternoon. Enjoying this sunny afternoon.
Oh, is it not gorgeous outside? I'd be in a better humor if I was outside.
Well, you need a window. They should just knock a hole in the wall and
I know
give you a window.
They put big old shades on here. Make us more depressed, Susan. I like the shades, but we'll be all right. We'll be okay. We'll get outside. At least we got a little light a little later nowadays.
Well, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
What's on your mind, Susan?
Okay. My question is, why in the world do illegals and like this guy from Colombia with the green card, why do they get due process? If you don't belong here, you need to be sent out. That's my...
Yes, ma'am. Illegal,
get rid of.
And I agree with that. Illegal aliens do not receive due process under the laws of the Constitution of the United States of America because their status here, their very nature here is illegal. Those that are here legally have certain rights afforded to them by the Constitution. So they're a little bit different than the illegals. The illegals, obviously, if you are determined to be illegally in the United States of America, you can be sent back home to your country of origin through whatever arrangement the United States has with that country. So you're dead on. Those that are here illegally need to be booted out. Those that have to be adjudicated, whether they're legal or illegal, they'll get a day in court. It'll be determined. And then ultimately, at least in the case of this Columbia dude, I hope he gets sent home.
I agree. I hope he gets sent home and let his wife go with him.
Well, that's right. She can go. She can stay. I don't care. I mean, I don't, all of this nonsense about, well, they didn't know where he was or whatever. I don't care about any of that. None of it. I don't care about any of that. You're accused of violating the terms of your resident status. You'll get a day in court, but we don't afford your wife any of this information. You don't necessarily, you can get a lawyer, and then we'll let your lawyer know where you are. It is 49 after the hour, almost 50 past the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, that budget resolution is headed to the U.S. Senate. That story and more coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Now it gets interesting, ladies and germs. Do these Democrats in the Senate that have 47 seats, do they have the cojones to shut the government down? What did I always heard that Uncle Phil called them the C.H. Jones. I always called him the cojones. The C.H. Jones. Yes, those are always good too. You got the stones. How big a boy are you? Y'all gonna shut the government down, you Democrats? Because you dang sure gonna get the blame for it this time around. Especially if everybody but Rand Paul votes in favor of it on the Republican side. Rand ain't voting for this thing, and that's fine. Rand is a man of principle. But boy, oh boy, I don't know. Let's find out. Now, why is that a good thing? I'll tell you in the 5 o'clock hour. I don't like it, but let's advance the ball forward. Let's take our victories where we can get them. Let's move on to the next budget. Let's move on to the new budget. Let's move on to the budget that we can make lean and mean and, dare I say, get us close to balanced. Maybe. More on that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Right now we are, boy, oh boy, C.O. Jones, not C.H. Jones. I said C.H. I was wrong. Thank you, Larry, for correcting me. C.O. Jones, a.k.a. cojones.
I wonder if I said that in New Mexico.
Do you have the cojones, man?
C.O.
I
Jones.
did not believe that you had the cojones. I did not believe that you have them.
I'm Ken Weaver.
I'm C.O. Jones.
The man says he was struck in the C.O. Jones. Was unable to walk.
That's a quote.
Proper.
Quoting now. C.O. Jones.
It really hurt my C.H. Jones. C.O. Jones. I'm Ken Weaver, Albuquerque News.
What is that man saying on the radio? I did not understand what he... what?
He keeps calling it Santa Fe.
It's I don't know where Santa Fe is. I think Santa Fe is in Tennessee, and they call it Santa Fe. Isn't it? Isn't there a Santa Fe here?
Yes.
Yep.
But it's Santa Fe.
Yeah, yeah. It's spelled. Well, no, it's spelled
the same way.
Right?
But it's called Santa Fe.
Oh my Lord! In Georgia, we had 187,000 counties. Actually, 159. I remember that in Georgia when I was growing up, and it wasn't Albany. It was Albany.
Yes.
And it wasn't Houston County. It was Houston County. Oh, good gracious. Y'all just messing with us. And I think I've told you the story. Write this one out, and I'm not making this up. Y'all write this down together. Taliofferro. Taliofferro. Any normal human being would pronounce that Taliaferro.
Yeah.
That was a county in Georgia.
But that's not how you pronounce it.
It was pronounced Tolliver. I'm not.
One more time.
I'm like
one more time.
Taliofferro is the county. That's how you spell it, and it's pronounced Tolliver.
Tolliver.
Yeah, Tolliver with a V and no O at the end
and an R.
Y'all aren't even trying over there.
Yeah,
y'all got a lot of C.O. Jones to call that Tolliver. Tell you that. Scott is next up. Scott, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Matt?
What's happening?
I got a comment about the guy that's a green card holder. After 5 years of being a green card holder, you can apply for citizenship. I don't know why we don't do something about that. We got a lot of people here that are legal green card holders who have been green card holders for way over 5 years, yet they don't apply. They don't have any desire to become a citizen.
Well, yeah, and I'm willing to look at all of those laws. I think we should put, I'm on the record as saying that I don't see any reason why we could not put a 12-month moratorium on all immigration into the United States of America, legal or otherwise, get a handle of the southern border, get all of that built, 12 or 24 months for that matter, and then figure out where we are going wrong in our immigration processes and get a Congress to do something about it, to change the law to better reflect our values here in the United States, to keep some of these people out. That's the long-term answer to me.
Oh, absolutely. I married a girl. I'm from Miami, and I married a girl in 1984 4,
Mm-hmm.
who was from Panama, not Panama the country, and we went through the whole thing of her getting her citizenship. I adopted a son that she had,
Awesome.
and he became a citizen.
Awesome.
And we went through the whole 9 yards.
Well,
man,
because people came, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Scott, but I got to go because it's 5 o'clock. But people who came to the United States of America came because they loved this country. They believed in this country. They didn't come to hate on it. And now we're letting people in here to come to hate on it. That's why we're angry at each other about what to do about it. Long-term solution is in the Congress of the United States. Change the immigration law and get these people out.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The news is just like a fire hose today. We've got the House just now passing that budget resolution to keep the federal government running through the summer. Now it goes to the Senate. I have not seen a breakdown on who voted for it and who voted against it. Also, I am seeing multiple reports that nearly half of the federal education department is expected to get fired sometime tonight by the Trump administration. We'll get you the very latest on that once we get more info. Right now, I'm just seeing some headlines on it, some news alerts. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Ukraine has agreed to a deal to secure peace that calls for a 30-day ceasefire.
Hopefully, we'll take this offering out of the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball's now in their court.
President Trump echoes that. The U.S. immediately resuming military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Canada is backing off that 25% tariff on electricity it provides to about 1.5 million Americans after President Trump doubled to 50% the tariffs he said he'd put on Canada's steel and aluminum. And here in Tennessee, over at the state capitol, quite a crowd there. Channel 4 says those are folks from around the state who came to Nashville to protest a bill that allows school districts to deny access to undocumented immigrant students or enroll them and charge tuition or enroll them without charging tuition. It would be the school district's choice. It's headed to the full House Education Committee after passing the K-12 subcommittee this morning. House Majority Leader William Lamberth explained why lawmakers are doing this.
Every district in this state right now primarily asks for three things when a child enrolls in school: a birth certificate, proof of residency, and proof of immunizations. 2 out of those 3 they can actually enforce. The third they cannot. This gives an option to the local districts to require that proof of citizenship, just as they require proof of residency or immunizations.
Well, critics say the bill runs counter to a 1982 Supreme Court decision that guarantees all children access to a public education, no matter their status. Nashville Democrat State Senator Charlene Oliver, co-sponsor of a bill guaranteeing access to birth control. The Tennessee Contraceptive Freedom Act covers condoms and birth control.
The reality is the vast majority of Tennesseans support access to birth control. Birth control in all its forms, whether it's condoms or emergency contraception, is health care. It's not a partisan issue. It's not a divisive issue. It's a matter of personal choice, privacy, and the well-being of families across our state.
That bill also calls on health insurance providers and health agencies to provide access. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, over on the East Loop going westbound, we've got a crash off on the right shoulder there at Shelby Avenue, and a crash right off-ramp lane is blocked. 40 eastbound to Fessler's Lane, just east of downtown. Over in Robertson County, got a crash reported by the Highway Patrol blocking the right shoulder 65 northbound past exit 117. That'll be Orlinda, Portland, Highway 52. And in Burwood, Williamson County, got a stalled vehicle. TDOT says the right lane blocked 840 westbound past Carter's Creek Pike or exit 23. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Here we are, and here we go. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another hour on this Tuesday edition, March 11, 2025. Pleased you have joined us today. It is episode 767, our big, I used to say our big, I mean, now they have 777s, right? Isn't there a 787? Big old jumbo jet?
I do believe there are, Brother Murphy.
What's the biggest plane y'all ever been on?
I don't know.
I had one of them big old planes where there were 5 seats in the middle.
Oh.
I've never been on one of those.
I've never done that.
I don't know. I think I'm right. I think it was 5 seats in the middle and 2 on the side. It was big. It was huge.
Yeah.
Big old thing. Traveling. I remember about 40 minutes of that flight because we were going overseas.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't like the idea of traveling over the ocean. I don't mind traveling over land for some reason. I mean, I don't know. The land's going to be just as hard as the water. I don't know why it bothers me, but I just don't like the idea of doing that. But we were traveling 8 hours, Atlanta to Amsterdam.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And I made about 40 minutes of it before the Valium kicked in.
Yeah.
Everybody, when I woke up, said I snored. I didn't hear myself at all. Everybody looked mad at me.
I slept through it.
You looked around, you said, stop lying.
Yeah, everybody looked angry. Anyway, I hope you're not angry at me today. We're talking due process and, that pesky little Constitution of the United States of America. We're also talking about some activity on Capitol Hill as the House of Representatives has voted. Ken Weaver, did you get – I was meaning to do this during the break, and I was doing something else.
Yes,
did you get a final vote count on that?
The final vote is 217 to 213. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider laid upon the table.
Well, there you go. I love it when
now,
the
I
motion
don't know who the 4 votes, or rather – yeah.
Wait,
I don't know if any.
That had to be some GOP. I mean, Massey had to be a defection.
Or could he abstain, I guess?
I don't know.
No, he would have voted against it, probably.
You said 217 to 214?
No, 217 to 213.
To 213. Well,
I never know the breakdown.
That's 4. That's 4. Yeah, we got 5 missing. 430 versus 435. I don't know. I never know that either.
I remember one fella passed away.
Yeah, so that's -1, so 4 missing. Maybe he did. Maybe he just maybe he took a walk. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it, man. Sometimes when members of a caucus or members of a party have a lot of consternation. I've never seen it in Tennessee, but I watched it a lot in Alabama. I took a walk with a senator in Alabama where there was a vote coming up, and he said, come on, let's go to the bank. And I was like, what? And we were in his office. I said, don't you have a vote? This is a pretty big vote. He goes, let's take a walk with me. And we took a walk, and he said, I can't vote in favor of it, and they need me to not be there in order to be able to pass it with the proper amount. And so I'm just going to take a walk. I'm going to do him a solid. I was like, okay. I mean,
you got it on CNN in there?
I do.
Is Tim Burchett speaking?
He is not.
Okay, because Burchett sometimes he'll go talk to CNN.
Maybe he.
I'm not seeing anybody on Fox. Chuck Schumer's on Fox right now.
I'm looking at Peter Navarro talking about U.S. and Canadian officials. They're renegotiating.
They're not
the trade
even
deal.
on it.
And yeah, they're not. Oh no, it was a success. Come on, Ken. Hashtag never CNN. Successful for Republicans means let's move on to other news. I get. This is what wears me out about this garbage network. I guarantee you bet everything in my bank account, and it's a pretty good amount. It's not as good as some, but it's pretty good. Guarantee you that if the Republican vote had failed in the House of Representatives, they would be talking about it right now. But we need to talk about more important things like U.S.-Canadian deals and the trade. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump had a win there, too. They pulled back, that Ontario dude pulled back the 25% electricity tariffs.
Yeah, tough talker Doug Ford.
Oh, yeah. Doug Ford was going to lay it on us.
Well, he was going to shut it off.
He's going to lay the wood down. Oh, yeah. You see how y'all like it in the dark. Well, somebody got to him, didn't they? Donald Trump said, yeah, we'll do 50% tariffs. We'll go from 25 to 50, and essentially we'll shut your automobile industry down. There you go. Thank you very much. And like, whoa, hold on a second. Let's keep the lights on while we discuss this. 8272 says, I like the way Ken Weaver says, super talk.
Super talk.
997 WGN. If they pay you enough, you'll do anything, even flying over the pond. Yeah, I needed a Valium to do all that. I'll tell you. I didn't like it. I just didn't like. I smoked back then, Ken.
Oh, brother, let me tell you something. In my smoking days, I hated flying.
Oh, awful.
Oh, that Minnesota airport one time, I got stuck in there for 3 hours. They didn't have any smoking.
They didn't have a smoking room?
And you couldn't go outside at the time either because they wouldn't let you back in.
Oh, my goodness. That was hell back in the day, man.
And all I had was a portable DVD player, so I just sat and watched Three Stooges DVDs and just fought yelling at people because I couldn't have a cigarette.
How long did you smoke?
I smoked for off and on, mostly for 20 years. Finally quit.
I went from 50 to whatever that is, 17 years, and I finally got rid of it.
Yeah, it was tough.
I have quit now longer than I actually smoked, which is pretty cool.
Oh, you know
That's
what?
pretty good.
I will next year.
Next year?
Yeah, I quit 2006.
There you go. What were you smoking when you smoked?
I was smoking full-on Marlboro.
Me too, boy. Marlboro Reds.
Full on.
Well, I mostly smoked OP. You know OP?
OP.
Other
People's.
Other People's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did that one time whenever I quit, and people started getting mad at me. So one time I quit, my wife scolded me and told me to go down to the store and get a pack of cigarettes.
I tried to quit a couple times before I decided to quit, and there's a big difference. And my grandpa taught me that.
Yeah.
He said, you try to quit, you're never going to succeed.
Exactly.
Because you decide to quit, and then you don't smoke.
Yes, sir.
Right? When you decide to quit, you don't smoke. But I tried a couple of times, and I don't recommend this at home, kids. As a matter of fact, I am telling you, do not do this. Because I used that nicotine patch.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the urge got to me even with the patch on.
Yeah.
And I lit one up on it, on the patch. Don't do that.
No.
It'll make you sick.
Yeah.
It'll give you hallucinations.
It is true what they say. You got to stop cold turkey. You have got to stop it.
I didn't understand these basic rules when my grandfather told me, because I tried to quit and he laughed at me. He said, your problem is you're trying. Sir, it's like you smoke or you don't smoke. If you don't smoke, you don't smoke. And I was like, well, that sounds stupid. And he told me to. He told me to. I did. I was like, that's just stupid. But it's not. It's true. You smoke or you don't. All this trying garbage is nonsense. Number two, he said, when you quit smoking, when you've decided not to smoking, always keep a pack of cigarettes on you or near you.
Mm-hmm.
He said the idea of not being near one drove me insane when I quit smoking. But if I had a pack near me, I knew that if the cigarette won, it's right there. If the cigarette, it said it's not the proximity of the cigarette that drives you insane. That's you.
Right, exactly.
That's you, right? That's in you. And and when you quit, you've quit. You don't smoke. But if the cigarette wins, there it is. Go back to it.
Oh, I could go right back to it. I guarantee you I could. I loved it. I freaking loved smoking.
I did too.
But
smoking did not love us.
Well, one night I noticed I was hearing myself wheezing in bed while I was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's not good.
That's not good. No. I got in the habit of when I was in the shower coughing up a bunch of brown and black stuff.
That'll
and I'm like,
disabuse you of it too.
I'm 31 years of age. What am I doing? And the last thing that my grandpa told me, and for any of you smokers out there that are worried about this, you quit or you smoke or you don't. That's number one. Keep a pack of cigarettes around you when you decide you don't smoke. And the one thing he told me that sounded so dumb, it sounded so dumb when he said it. He's like, because I was on that patch, and I told him I'm on the patch. He said, the patch? What are you talking about? Oh, it's a nicotine patch. It releases nicotine, so it eliminates your nicotine craving, pa. And he goes, you only need one thing to quit smoking. You need to want to.
Yep.
And that was also the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life. Well, of course, I thought I wanted to, but I didn't. But if you want to not smoke, you can do it.
You can.
Every single human being can do it.
I did it.
All you have to do is want to.
Yeah.
And there you go. All right, and there's your life lesson. There's
good luck.
But all that said, smoke them if you got them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. All right, we got the CR to deal with. The House passed it. The Senate's going to get it. We've been talking about green cards for the better part of the day. Look, I don't think we're far apart on this. I just remind you that the American system of laws set up a process by which individuals can come legally into the United States of America. Now, if we want to revisit the manner in which we do that, so be it. But until we do that, through the Congress of the United States, laws mean something. The rule of law means something. And as disgusting as this human being is at Columbia, as disgusting as he has been, as much as he hates America, he found his way through the legal system to possess a permanent resident visa, a green card. Now, the Secretary of State says it's time to revoke that. Very well. I'm in agreement with the Secretary of State. As a matter of fact, I'm in agreement with Caroline Leavitt, who earlier today said, we believe that under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or visa for individuals who are, quote, adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interest of the United States of America. Where do you demonstrate that someone has been adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interest of the United States of America? Where do you demonstrate that is my question to those of you that are frustrated with this conversation. Does Marco Rubio just decide that and you're out? Or is that decided in a court? And that's the only difference of opinion that most of us have. You have to decide that in a court. Chuck says, Matt, you shouldn't have said you hallucinated. Well, it was true. I don't know. I don't recommend it because your heart starts racing. This is me smoking on the nicotine patch. Do not do that. It is a danger to your health and safety. Do not do it.
I would smoke with a big old chaw in my cheek of skull long cut. I had to stop that too.
Yeah. When I first started, I started chewing tobacco before I smoked. Levi Garrett.
I was always afraid I was going to swallow it.
Yeah, well,
because of the chewing.
You only do that once.
Yeah, I heard.
And yeah, stomach doesn't like it very much. Then you learn to spit. So let's go to Jim, who is in Greenbrier. Let's talk about green cards. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hey, not to change the subject, but I quit smoking when I was 12 because my parents found out.
Oh, boy. You get a whooping, Jim?
Well, we won't talk about it.
That thing still hurts.
Yeah.
Still hurts, doesn't it, Jim?
Yeah. I wonder if they could expel him based on if he's got a green card. I would think he's got to be gainfully employed. Now it looks like he's being paid to be a protester and an organizer, and is that gainful employment? He's not really contributing anything good to our state and county. But and also, I have to say, a group of us had some experience with that during Black Lives Matters, in that we went to the Springfield rally, Black Lives rally, and the Millersville, where they said they were going to burn the police or the city hall down. Our leader told the police, we want to help. So we were there. We didn't engage them in yelling matches. We just told them as they came up, we have guns under our shirts. We have long guns in our cars. If you destroy anything or hurt anybody seriously, you'll deal with us too. And that worked. But we've also found out that there was a woman there who was getting paid $1,400 for every protest rally she organized, and she would walk along the protesters every once in a while and urge them on, to yell some more and all this stuff. So there ought to be something like that looked into on that guy's case.
Well, no, I think a cursory glance, and I think folks are intentionally or unintentionally misrepresenting my position here. My position is not a defense of this individual staying in the United States of America. My defense on this point is the Constitution of the United States of America and the idea that we allow for an immigration process legally right now. And under the allowance of individuals to legally migrate into the United States of America using our system of laws, they have protections. Some of those protections would be considered constitutional in nature. And whether you like that or not, you might hate it, but no matter how much you say it, it doesn't make it true that resident aliens who are legally here, a lot of people are saying, well, resident aliens don't have constitutional rights, only U.S. citizens. You are... I feel like maybe some, not you, but maybe some are conflating illegal alien and legal alien. A legal alien has constitutional rights. But there are also ways under the Constitution and under our laws to boot that person out of the country. And I think Marco Rubio has a case to be made to boot this guy out. I think he'll win. My point last night, my point today, is that you have to demonstrate that their actions go above and beyond your First Amendment free speech rights in the country. But secondary to that, as they have done so, if you demonstrate that those things are happening, you have to do it in a court of law, and that judge in good standing has to determine that the violation has happened. Then you round them up, you send them back to wherever they come from. In the meantime, the Trump administration canceled most USAID programs and folds the others into the State Department. This coming out just yesterday. The Trump administration canceled most of the U.S. Agency for International Development's programs, folding the remaining initiatives into the State Department. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced yesterday that 83% of USAID's programs, or 5,200 contracts, will be terminated and approximately 1,000 contracts will be administered by the State Department. The 5,200 contracts that are now canceled spent tens of billions of dollars in ways that did not serve and in some cases harmed the core national interest of the United States of America, Marco Rubio said on the X machine. In consultation with Congress, we intend for the remaining 18% of the programs we're keeping to now be administered more effectively under the State Department. Now, that does not mean that this current continuing resolution will eliminate that 83%. I'm talking about that next. I'll take your telephone calls as well at 615-737-9986. Plus, news this afternoon, breaking news right now, that one of the heads of the USAID department is telling his employees to shred documents. This just in. This is bad, bad, bad. We'll talk about it next on Super Talk. Tomorrow's the big day. I'm very excited about what I get to do tomorrow because I'm joining Men of Valor on Capitol Hill. A day on the Hill brings awareness and draws importance to the Men of Valor. Legislators will meet Men of Valor tomorrow and tell stories, pray together. It's a very, very important day, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Tomorrow is a day on the Hill, and I invite you to contact your legislator and to talk to them about exactly what the program means to you. It is a faith-based program equipping men leaving prison to become responsible fathers, employees, and citizens, and they need your help. Call your individual senator or legislator and tell them that you support Men of Valor, because when these men succeed, Tennessee communities are safer and better as a result. I'll be talking with all of the legislature tomorrow as I'm on the Hill with Men of Valor from 9 until noon. If I see you, say hello to me, and we'll be telling you all about the success of the day that is Men of Valor Day on the Hill tomorrow. Go to movministry.com for more information. That's movministry.com.
Balls in the U.S. Senate's court. Balls in Russia's court. Reports say as many as 1,300 federal education department employees are going to get their walking papers tonight. All this and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ken, I have a question. If you have balls in Russia's court,
yeah,
and you have a ball in the Senate,
yeah,
well, then you have C.O. Jones.
Yeah, see, yeah,
just I don't know. That's what I think.
C.O. Jones in the U.S. Senate court. C.O. Jones in Russia's court. I'm Ken Weaver, Albuquerque News.
Ken, deep down thinking, who is this dude?
No, I like that.
Oh, man. That's pretty good.
Hey, what is going on right now?
I don't know. Egg prices are going down. I don't know. Egg prices are going down. we got a lot of folks on the phone. That's good. I got that Russia story to talk about. Man, oh man, so much going on. Let me tell you, I love doing Noon to 3, and I love listening to Brian Wilson in the drive, and I know y'all did too. I hope you enjoy me. I'm a different drink of water. I understand that, but I absolutely love do an afternoon drive with all of you going home. Maybe some of you are home now because you're on spring break or whatever, because there's so much that breaks between like 3:45 and 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like just a whole new day. I mean, you've got the Russia situation that broke a little earlier today where Ukraine said, okay, we'll do a ceasefire. No word on the rare earth minerals yet, but we'll get there. There's that. You've got the CR resolution that was passed by the House of Representatives, 217 to 212, or 213, I guess it was.
213.
213, pardon me. And then you've got this breaking news story out of the USAID program.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm not making this up. A senior official at USAID has instructed the agency's remaining staff to convene at the agency's former headquarters in Washington today for a, quote, all-day group effort to destroy documents stored there. Destroy documents stored there. Uh-huh. You heard me correctly. Well, hell, Hillary did it. Why wouldn't they? Joe Biden did it. Why won't they? I mean, when criminals do criminal things, they're obviously going to try to cover up their tracks, aren't they? More on that coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And yes, what Brother Murphy just said, a senior official at USAID instructing the agency's remaining staff to convene at the now former headquarters in Washington today for what he calls an all-day group effort to destroy documents stored there, many of which contain sensitive information, he says, to shred them until the machine breaks down, burn the rest. The email does not provide any reason for the document destruction. The State Department did not respond to a request for comment on the document purge, according to Politico. Elsewhere in our nation's capital.
On this vote, the yeas are 217, the nays are 213. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
House Republicans cheering after passing a bill to fund the federal government through September, averting a government shutdown at the end of this week by a 4-vote margin. Ukraine, Russia, peace negotiation update. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire to work on it. As a result of progress in the talks with the Ukrainians, the administration says it will now lift its recent pause on intelligence sharing and security assistance for Ukraine. And the tough-talking Ontario Premier Doug Ford is backing off that 25% tariff on electricity provided to 1.5 million Americans. Ford's change of heart comes after President Trump this morning threatened to double to 50% tariffs on Canada's steel and aluminum. And here in Tennessee, a bill to allow school districts to refuse to enroll undocumented students or enroll them and charge tuition or enroll them and not charge tuition is advancing. Supporters say school districts should be able to decide if they want to bear the full cost of taking on these students. Critics call it racist. The House K-12 subcommittee voted 5-3 to move the bill forward to the full House Education Committee. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Over in the Gulch, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at DeMundrian Street. And in the Sticks, an accident, Korean Veterans Boulevard at 8th Avenue South, Lafayette Street roundabout. 24 westbound at Shelby Avenue. That's going to be the westbound East Loop. A crash reported by police over there on the right shoulder. In Robertson County, got Highway Patrol reporting a crash on the right shoulder, 65 northbound past Orlinda, Portland, Highway 52. And in Wilson County, debris blocking the right lane, 40 westbound, right before Linwood Road. TDOT working that. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Eurofix. You know, there are a lot of diagnoses out there. There's a pill for everything. And, you know, not all diagnoses are accurate, or diagnosis, as the case may be. And not all pills are good for you. At Eurofix, they're going to give you a diagnosis for your European auto repair. And they encourage you, listen, if you need a second opinion, get a second opinion, you'll be back. If they are a second opinion, you'll stay right there because Eurofix wants you to have all the information you need before you make a major decision. They are the home for second opinions, as a matter of fact, before you spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on European auto repair. You should know what's going on with your vehicle. It can not only save your vehicle's life, but save you a lot of money. Now, they have a 15-minute no-wrench inspection, which will give you a good diagnosis as to what's going on. You get a 3-year nationwide warranty, plus a free loaner car with every repair appointment. At Eurofix, you never pay dealer prices. They have 5 locations to serve you. We talk about those all the time. Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now in Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX or go to myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you about your hair. I understand that that's a sensitive subject, especially if you're losing some of your hair. Well, here's the deal, friends. If you're just noticing, or if you haven't noticed yet, but you're worried about it, why not go to PAI Medical, the We Grow Hair people? Allow them to check it out. They told me that I was losing a little bit of thickness at the crown of my head. They said, Murph, we can do something about it before you lose any more. Because when you start losing your hair, you don't notice it for a while. As a matter of fact, up to 50% of your hair can be lost without noticing the thinning that is happening. PRP treatments, laser treatments for busy men, in and out in 45 minutes. I did it, and I don't have to worry about hair loss anymore. Thank you to PAI Medical. With the We Grow Hair people, call 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010. No matter where you are in your hair loss, they can help you at We Grow Hair. WeGrowHair.com. I love showing up in the, hey, everybody, how are y'all? My name's Matt. I should say hello. Hope everyone's doing well. Got your little not actually spring break going on this week, do you? Yeah? Not going well for you? Is it? Having a little fun with friends? Spending some good time with family? Hope so. Spending some time with me, Matt Murphy. I'm part of your family. I'm like your crazy cousin. Sits in the corner drinking. Entire reunion. Muttering. Yelling at people for no reason.
He says things like, with a half-lit cigarette between his fingers, well, if I was El Presidente.
Let me explain to you what you're not getting about this situation. You need to write this down. C.O. Jones. What you need. Now spell that out. Don't you ask your little amigo friends what it means. Yeah, that's me. So a senior official at USAID has instructed the agency's remaining staff to convene at the agency today. This is a report that came out originally in Politico. Ironically, a Politico that got money from USAID. How about that? I guess, the spigot turns off and they turn tail and run. The materials earmarked for destruction include contents of the agency's, quote, classified safes and personnel documents at the Ronald Reagan building. An email was sent by USAID's acting executive director, Erica Carr. I assume we're trying to stop this. I assume that we're not allowing this to happen, right?
Well, that's what is not clear.
I mean, why in the hell would we allow these people that have been wasting billions and billions and billions and billions of our tax dollars to cover their tracks so that we can't see how they finagled their way around congressional or executive branch oversight? Why would we do that? Why would we allow the thieves to erase their fingerprints at the scene of the crime? Why would we do that? Shred. This is what the email said. Shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. Carr instructed staff to label the burn bags with the words secret and USAID, B, and IO, agency shorthand for bureau or independent office, in dark Sharpie. The email did not provide any reason whatsoever for document destruction. The building is being emptied out after mass layoffs. The effort is underscoring the tumultuous way. The Politico article goes on to talk about how tumultuous all of this has been, but this is bad, folks. This is the deep state trying to cover their tracks because they've been exposed, and we need to stop it. In the meantime, I need to get to some of your calls. Many of you have held for a long time, like Billy, who is in the borough. Hey, Billy, how are you?
Hey, Matt, love you, brother.
Thank you, man.
I'd just like to say a quick hello to my fellow Okie, transplanted Tennessean, Ken Weaver. What's up, brother?
What's going on, my man? Boomer Sooner.
Oh, go Pokes.
Oh, well, that's still okay.
That's all right. Hey,
Oklahoma
Matt,
on Oklahoma violence. Oh, no.
I'm telling you, you should have grown up in my house. My dad was a diehard OU fan. God rest his soul. I think the decision on who's going to lose their green card is up to the person that's holding the green card by their actions for all the world to see.
Well, it's well spoken, sure. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, ultimately, this dude has already done the act, and the Biden administration wouldn't do anything about it. The Trump administration has decided to do something about it. The entirety of my point, and I think you get it, Billy, and I just want to reiterate it for those in the back, is that in America, we believe in due process. Illegal aliens are not afforded due process. Legal aliens are.
Yep, that's the reason people hate us, because if we have different opinions, and I love you, and sometimes we differ.
Yeah.
But because we can talk about it and find common ground, and that's why the rest of the world hates us, because you got to be able to defend the people saying what they say that you hate the most, and if you're not willing to do that, then you really don't have freedom or liberty.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. I mean, freedom, the liberty.
The old Marine. So.
God bless you. Thank you, Billy, for the call. I mean, the liberty that we enjoy in the United States of America is unmatched. And it involves one of the most difficult things in the world to do. And that is to grant that others have a right to live a life of their own choosing, regardless of how I feel about it, so long as they are not depriving others of their right to life and liberty and their own pursuit of happiness, as long as they are not denying others their constitutional and ultimately their God-given rights. So the guy down the street might be living a life that you don't care for. My dad said this years and years ago. It's mostly it's my grandpa, my pa, that said the things that just stick in my brain. But my dad said this one. He said, "Son, every man deserves to go to hell in his own fashion." And I think about that phrase often when I think about America and how we allow for people to make wrong decisions in this country. We allow for people to be irresponsible. As long as they're not denying others of their rights, we allow people to be wrong. And that's what liberty's all about. But you have to reap what you sow. You have to bear the consequence of that. Now, that doesn't mean that this dude can willy-nilly violate the rights of others or violate his honor, the honoring of the agreement that he made with the United States to come into this country legally. He obviously cannot, and it's not going to stand, but you got to give him due process. Illegal aliens are not afforded due process. Legal aliens are, whether you like it or not. Mike is in Old Hickory. Hello, Mike.
How you doing, Matt?
Man, Mike, I'm great. I hope you are.
Watching the Constitution?
I'm doing my best.
Well, here we go. It's judicial, executive, And guess what?
Legislative.
Legislative.
Yes, sir.
We just passed a CR, which just continues to spend. Biden, Obama, Clinton, all those people in the past, nothing's getting done. $37 trillion in debt, $2 trillion in actual debt per year. So here's the question. And Donald Trump's his approval rating has gone down because of the stock market. But here's the question. What are the American people going to do to stop it? And they're not doing anything to stop it because they're not calling their representatives.
Yeah, you got it.
I call mine once a month. Bill Haggerty, Marsha Blackburn, and John Rose. And I call them every month.
Yeah.
I say, what are you people doing up there? What are you people actually doing up there?
Who'd you say your congressperson was?
John Rose.
Oh, John Rose, yeah.
And I asked, what are you doing up there? What are you doing? They just passed the CR. It goes to the Senate. Now it goes to the Senate. Now, guess what? You've got to have a bill that can pass 60 votes in the Senate.
I know.
To get this bill passed.
And this is going to be a very, very interesting next day or two. And Mike, I'm sorry that I have to do this, but I gotta do something real quick. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm going to be accused of being a nincompoop. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of days, in as much as the Democrats, this is all on them now. You will get a majority of Republicans voting in favor of a continuing resolution. It's not a good thing. It's not a good bill. It's not a good way to run the government. I can talk for days about that, but it is the best thing we got going. Donald Trump wants it. We're going to give it to him. We're going to give him a few months to get this thing right. We're going to reset and try to pass a budget the right way in the summer and into the fall. But right now is not the time. It is 47 after the hour. Let's go ahead and hit this sounder real quick. Go ahead and hit this sounder real quick. Come on. Y'all thought I forgot. I didn't forget. It might be a little, it's a compressed. It's like if we dipped our C.O. Jones in a cold bath of water, that's what we're talking about.
It's ice bath level.
It's there's a little shrinkage on the nincompoops today, but it's nincompoops nonetheless. Hey, Mason, did you remember a nincompoop?
I did.
Hey, how about that? You get to go first, Mason.
Oh, boy. We got a little, everybody loves their pets, right?
Well, sure.
I like mine.
I love my dogs.
Would you bring them on traveling with you?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in a car?
Maybe in a car, maybe on a plane if it was a good enough trip for a long period of time.
If he can sit in my lap.
Have to be a pretty good
take
trip,
your little wiener dog with you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this gentleman over here
put your wiener in your lap. Never, just move along.
This gentleman over here wanted to bring his pet on an airplane with him, but did not want to pay the pet fees.
Uh-huh.
So what was his next bright idea?
Put it in his pants.
Correct.
Well, hey! Woo! First guess.
This gentleman here in New Jersey decided to wrap his pet turtle in a blue towel and shove it down his pants and try and smuggle it through security. As he was going through the metal detector, they noticed the large bulge in his pants, got a little confused, and saw the lump was not made of man, and realized that's a shell. I said, "Sir, what do you have down there?" And he goes, "None of your business." And they said, "Sir, you can't take that with you. What is that?" And he pulls it out, notice that the towel's moving. They unfurl the turtle there.
It.
Yeah. It's a 5-inch turtle, so like standard like box turtle there.
What did he?
And what? Ended up getting escorted out of the building.
Is that a turtle in your pants?
Where was this at?
Really eager to fly.
Yeah, where was it?
New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, New Jersey.
Yes,
Jersey. Turtles in your pants. I could understand if somebody accused you of having another kind of reptile in your pants, but a turtle?
Not everybody's normal go-to.
You said it was a box turtle?
It was a box turtle.
Wasn't a snapper?
Not a snapper.
Okay, well, that's good. Not an alligator turtle?
That would have been a bad experience
Probably good
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I had me a little turtle when I was a kid.
I did too. I had 3.
Did you?
I had 3 growing up.
Like you foundlings or
foundlings?
Yeah, we had a little foundling when I was a kid. Named it Myrtle.
Myrtle the turtle.
Myrtle the turtle. That's right.
I had a veterinarian as a neighbor in Albuquerque.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah?
And she had a whole bunch of turtles in her yard. Whenever they go on vacation, she left me bags of food for them marked for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go in their house, get the day's bag of food, and by the time I got back outside, about 15 or 16 little turtles were coming out of their holes.
They knew what time of
Walking
day it
up
was.
to, they knew it was time to eat.
There's no question. Ken Weaver, do you have an nincompoop, sir?
I do. This comes out of the state of Georgia. Fake football recruiter accused of ripping off Georgia athletes, police say. Gainesville police have arrested and charged 39-year-old Malcolm Walker with theft by deception for allegedly scamming coaches and families into thinking he would get their student athletes to meet college coaches.
I'm seeing him at Colorado brushing elbows with the coaches.
That's Coach Philip B. Coates. Says he paid more than $1,000 to this fella to take them on a trip to Colorado, one of his players, to meet with coaches and recruiters there.
I gave him, I think, $1,028.
B. Coates says Walker canceled the trip abruptly, then made excuses for 6 months as to why they couldn't go and never refunded his money. After that, Coach B. Coates filed a police report.
And he kept blowing me off and blowing me off and blowing me off. And so then that's when I just got to the point like, man, I ain't even going to worry about it. I'm just going to go up here to Gainesville Police Department and file a report on him.
We had a diligent investigator on this case. Was able to track the banking, some other evidence that led us exactly to Walker.
Well, and after they booked Walker into the Hall County Jail, they started getting calls from other law enforcement agencies saying they had similar reports. Investigators are hoping to tie their case to others across the state involving Walker. Now, unfortunately for Coach B. Coates, Coach Philip B. Coates, you are my nincompoop. Just because somebody's in a picture with Deion Sanders doesn't mean that you and his player are going to be flown to Boulder to meet with said coach.
That's a great nincompoop.
That's fair.
Those are 2 good nincompoops.
That's good.
But you're not the only one that can play audio, Ken. I got 20 seconds of it, 27 seconds of audio. You want to hear from a nincompoop?
Bring it.
Randy Weingarten is a nincompoop.
So many people are so mad about it because they're just taking opportunity away from kids that don't have it. So kids of billionaires, they have it. They go to private schools. Everyone else, 90%, go to public schools. Don't take away their opportunity.
So let's stay on the facts.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
do
really
not
angry
apologize.
about this.
No, because this
I'm
is what
really
people
angry.
need to hear.
I taught kids in Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, she's mad. The head of the teachers union, the NEA, is very, very upset about the suggestion that Donald Trump will be eliminating the Federal Department of Education, suggesting there in that clip on MSNBC that by eliminating the Federal Department of Education, you are eliminating the educational opportunities for 90% of American children. We know that this is a lie. She knows that it's a lie. I know that it's a lie. The Federal Department of Education doesn't teach kids a damn thing. And Randy Weingarten sure as heck knows it. Hashtag gravy train. That woman is a nincompoop. And that's how you play nincompoops in the news. You can vote. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Vote on the super text line. Who's nincompoop of the day? Is it Mason? Is it Ken? Is it Murphy? Murphy's going to be a nincompoop if I don't go to break. It's 53, almost 54 after the hour on Super Talk. The Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center is owned and operated by Dr. Stephen Poss, Dr. Brian McLaughlin. Such good men, such good staff. They're really good at what they do. What do they do? Well, when I walk through the When I walked through the Brentwood office, I was immediately taken by the modern technology that they have at their fingertips. You know, I don't know why I expected this, but several years ago I thought, well, they'll do molds of your mouth to create these FDA-approved oral devices that gently hold your jaw forward. No molds. These are 3D scans of your mouth to get a detailed analysis of exactly your tooth position, your mouth position, and to make sure that they get the jaw exactly where it needs to be to hold that airway open, to make sure that you're breathing throughout the course of the night, that you're not stopping that breathing through sleep apnea. It can cause snoring if you do. It can cause health problems if you do. Friends, you need to get this handled, and the FDA-approved oral device is the way to do it. They're in network with most insurance in the state of Tennessee. Give them a call today. Start your journey by going to drposs.com. That's drposs.com. 2 locations for your convenience, Brentwood and Murfreesboro. It's the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center.
USAID acting director telling remaining staff to shred or burn items from classified safes. That email went out this morning. We'll tell you about it at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I mean, that's a nominee for Nincompoop of the Year right there. By the way, voting is officially closed on Nincompoops in the News.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Who won?
Mason Fleming.
All right, Brother Mason.
Really now?
The rookie.
Turtle in your pants won you Nincompoops in the News today. How about that? Huh?
That's way to go, Brother Mason.
I'll take it.
I was nice to you, though, because I could have easily done the story out of Memphis, Tennessee about the dude that says his dog shot him while lying in bed. Have y'all heard that story?
Oh, boy.
This is
sounds
true.
gold.
And we're doing this story next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Plus, we'll talk egg prices. We'll talk continuing resolutions. We'll talk with you on the phone. Lots to come. Hey, still 25% of the show to go on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, an email sent to remaining USAID staff directs them to clear out classified safes and personal documents from the Ronald Reagan building where the agency is housed and shred or burn the records. CBS News says this email was sent at 9:30 this morning from USAID Acting Executive Secretary Erica Carr, directing them to clear out all this stuff and get rid of it. No comment yet from anyone in the Trump administration. Reports say as many as 2,100 Federal Department of Education employees could be getting fired tonight. Elsewhere in our nation's capital, Stephen Portnoy says the House has passed that spending bill to fund the federal government through summer.
Republicans cheered the 217 to 213 vote.
The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
One Democrat, Jared Golden of Maine, supported the measure, and a single Republican, Thomas Massey of Kentucky, voted against it. The bill now moves to the Senate, where Democrats will have to decide whether they'll filibuster the measure. They oppose the cuts it makes to certain domestic programs, and they fear it won't prevent future DOGE-related firings. But failure to pass it would mean a shutdown Friday night.
Ukraine's agreed to terms of a 30-day ceasefire as part of a larger negotiation to end the war with Russia. President Trump commented outside the White House, said he expects to send a delegation to Moscow to okay the deal.
Ukraine, ceasefire, just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road.
What do you think, James Longman in Kyiv?
This is the big sentence in this statement. It said, subject to acceptance and concurrent implementation by the Russian Federation. The United States will communicate to Russia that Russian reciprocity is the key to achieving peace. So, look, big questions because Vladimir Putin has said he doesn't want a ceasefire. He's demanded 4 regions of Ukraine as what he wants to get out of this war. He's demanded that Ukraine never joins NATO. So we'll have to wait and see.
Trade war update. Ontario now backing down on that 25% tariff on electricity it supplies to 1.5 million Americans after President Trump threatened to double to 50% tariffs on Canada steel and aluminum. Canada now says they're suspending those electricity tariffs. Here in Tennessee, state lawmakers advancing a bill to give school districts a choice. Enroll illegal immigrant children and require tuition, or enroll them and not require tuition, or don't enroll them. Channel 4's Stacey Cameron reports the reasoning behind it.
The bill's sponsor in the House, William Lamberth, he says he wants Tennessee to pass this law, hoping it gets challenged. And that 40-year-old case saying undocumented students have an equal right to education, they want it overturned. But why? Well, Lamberth and other Republicans say because some school districts can't afford to pay the cost of educating these undocumented kids. And right now, Tennessee schools, they say, can't even ask about a student's immigration status. So Tennessee, they say, has no idea how many undocumented students are here and what the total bill to educate them is.
Well, Democrats are calling it racist. The bill passed the House K-12 subcommittee today and was referred to the full House Education Committee. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine, police reporting a crash 24 westbound at I-440. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, indeed. It's 7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We're here till 7 o'clock. We'll hand off to Mark Levin at that time, and we'll make our way to a Wednesday edition. By the way, if you're down on Capitol Hill for whatever reason tomorrow or in Cordell Hull, I've never been in Cordell Hull, but I have heard good things. Not really. I'll be there tomorrow, though. I'm very excited about this. So, various organizations have they have days designated for them, and they call these days a day on the Hill, where they come down to the Legislative Plaza and they talk with their representatives all over the state of Tennessee about matters important to their various organizations, and a lot of different organizations do this. You guys know by now that Men of Valor is near and dear to my heart. I just believe in what they do. There are many great sponsors that I have on the Matt Murphy Show. I love every single one of them individually. I appreciate every single one of them. But Men of Valor truly has a special place because of what they do and how they do it. They do things that the state can't. They do things that man can't because they use the power of God to accomplish them. They turn lives around in the penal system and show men who have found a bad way a better way. Tomorrow, we will be on Capitol Hill, at the Capitol and at Cordell Hull. I'll be there from about 9 to noon. I think they're there for a little longer in the day. So if you are a representative and you want to come by and say hello to us, I think we're on the 8th floor for some length of time, and we'll be around. We'll be walking around saying hello to everybody. It's a very special day, not because I am there. I'm the least of the specialness of this day. It is a very special day because the organization that is Men of Valor will be there, and more importantly, the graduates of the Men of Valor program. Many of them will be in attendance. What a great visit. What a great opportunity. And if you're down there, say hello to us tomorrow. That's between 9 and noon, and I'll be calling into the Chris Hand Show tomorrow morning and telling you about some of the action that's going on. In the meantime, egg prices have plunged nearly $2, now lower than when Donald Trump took office. I guess liberal Democrats will have to figure out, leftists will have to figure out a different talking point now. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins told reporters this morning that egg prices have dropped nearly $2 since the Trump administration initiated its biosafety strategy for combating H5N1 bird flu, which has decimated the poultry industry in recent months. Late last month, Rollins announced the Department of Agriculture would spend some $1 billion to lower egg prices and curb the spread of the highly pathogenic avian influenza. the bird flu. In addition to possibly importing up to 100 million eggs from foreign markets. How many, hey, Mason, do a quick trip down fact lane. Look up, get your old Google machine, your AI, your Grok rolling over there, and how many eggs does America consume in a day? In a day. What do you think the answer would be? I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I'm going to guess in a day. In one day, let's see, there's 330 million, and some of these are kids and blah, blah, blah. I bet you in one day the United States of America eats 100 million eggs in a day. That's going to be my guess. I thought when I stretched out that guess that Mason would have me something.
Cool Hand Luke eats 50.
50. What'd you have to say 50 for her? Why couldn't you say 30, 35? 50 sounded like a nice round number. I
don't like what the old Google machine is giving me because it's only giving me annual stuff.
Well, tell me what the annual number is, and I'll divide it by 365 there.
So per person, the average American eats around 280 eggs per year.
All right, so per person, you're giving me?
That's what I'm saying. I'm working on it.
Okay, well, just how did you type in how many eggs does the United States consume every day?
That's what I got typed in here, and that's the old Google machine.
And it is telling you it's telling you garbage that you don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could figure it out. I could
might
math
switch to
that.
Bing.
Yeah. You go to DuckDuckGo. See what DuckDuckGo said. Let's see what Grok has to say about it. I've never used old Grok.
What's Grok?
It's a form. I think it's the Twitter AI, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the
X
new
Machine
Twitter
AI.
Oh, okay.
I could
Trying
get
to be all special and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to figure this out because we consume a lot of eggs. One way or the other, egg prices are going down, taking away a leftist talking point. The average price for a dozen large white eggs fell to $6.08 as of Tuesday. According to the USDA, prices eclipsed $8 at the start of the month. They were $6.27 on Inauguration Day. So obviously these things have gone up incredibly because of the number of birds that have been killed because of the avian flu. I don't know why. There are some suggestions that the avian flu was intentionally set. I've seen those suggestions. I'd need a little more evidence before I would go with that theory. There are several suggestions that the Biden administration was just dead in the water, just had no response to any of this happening late last year because, they don't have any response to anything happening late last year because they were lame ducks and they knew it. One way or the other, it is a problem that the Trump administration is handling, and egg prices are expected to go down as a result and already are back down. Like we say, Inauguration Day, they were about $6.27. And today they are $6.08. They spiked at a price of $8, an average price of $8.17 on March the 3rd March the 3rd, and have been going down virtually ever since. The USDA report published in February found that egg prices increased by approximately 53% since January 2024. Approximately 160 million chickens have been killed due to the virus in the past few months, contributing to the marked rise in egg prices. But now that they're going down, liberals are probably disappointed about this, and liberals are probably upset that they have to figure out a different talking point now that prices have plunged nearly $2 in just over a month. You figure anything out in there, Mason? No? You gave up, didn't you?
I was doing maths because Google's not helpful to me today.
Here's what I did. So, look.
I looked at the U.S. population.
It's about 330 million?
340 million people in our country here.
340.
It said the average person eats about 1 to 2 eggs a day. So that's ranging from
okay. So that's 340 million then.
To if it's 2 a day, 680.
It's a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of eggs.
That's a whole bunch of them.
Get mad at them.
It's a
damn
big
eggs.
old bundle.
Better get mad at them eggs.
Start throwing them.
You need to see Cool Hand Luke, Mason.
I do.
You do. I mean, it's one of the most
stock a couple times.
One of the most quotable movies you'll ever see in your life. Why don't you stay down? You beat.
Baba Lugat, got a bet here.
Got a bet here, boss. Wish you'd stop being so good to me, boss. Just I could do it all day. All right. So in the meantime, let me give you this story. Out of Memphis, Tennessee, a man claimed he was shot by his dog while lying in bed early Monday morning.
All right.
The Memphis police responded to the accidental injury call at the 700 block of Whitney Avenue just before 4 a.m., where Gerald Kirkwood told police he was lying in bed with his female companion. Female companion. When his dog jumped on the bed. Apparently, according to the man, Oreo, who is a 1-year-old pit bull, I bet she's black and white.
I
too.
bet she is.
I bet she's precious. Oreo, the 1-year-old pit bull, allegedly got. It's a boy. Oreo's a boy. Oreo got he had his gun on the bed with him. Apparently, did our buddy Gerald?
Yeah. Oh, Gerald.
Or is it Gerald or Gerard? Hold on, Gerald. Gerald had his gun on the bed with him. And poor Oreo got his paw stuck in the trigger guard when he jumped on the bed. And then Oreo hit the trigger.
Whew.
Kirkwood was grazed by a bullet at the top of his left thigh.
Goodness.
He reportedly said, "It almost hit my C.O. Jones." No, he didn't really say that. I made that up. Reports say the female friend left the scene after the act. See, hold on a second. Listen to this aspect of the story. Any red flag? Reports say the female friend left the scene after the accidental shooting and took the gun with her.
Sorry about that, officer.
You don't get to see the gun, officer. Oreo did it. The dog did it. The girl did not. She's gone. She took the gun. I don't know where she is. Thank you. Have a nice day. According to the wounded man, it was a freak accident. The dog jumped up and caused the gun to discharge. A friend of his said the pit bull is really friendly and that his friend is fine. According to a WREG reporter, they visited the home Monday and told the victim was not there, but the dog named Oreo was. And that's the end of that story. I don't believe this. I don't believe this happened this way. I believe he got in a fight and a woman shot him. That's what I think. But you know what? That is wild, rampant speculation, and this talk show host has no ability to corroborate the veracity of his accusations. At the same time, I maintain my accusations. 615-737-9986, 17 after the hour. Listen, this continuing resolution needs to happen. Donald Trump wants it to happen. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Markets are in free fall right now as we watch the markets drop for a second straight day. Donald Trump had a few Teslas at the White House earlier today, and he was buying, selling, and trading some of those. We'll discuss that. And we'll talk to you on the phones. If I can ever figure out who's on line one, we'll do that next. On Super. Is there somebody on line one? Okay, don't I'm not. You're like sometimes Mason. I give Mason the business. It's my tone.
No, it's fine.
I love
no,
Mason.
It's fine.
But sometimes Mason is like a blackjack dealer at a casino. You just raise your hands like I got nothing in my hands.
I just react.
I just don't know what you're talking about.
Just little reacts.
I just think I think you have a little bit of Stockholm syndrome because of hand. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Or Mandus. He's the one who really gets me.
Mandus. I mean, he's the quiet assassin.
Oh, 100%.
He really is. If y'all listen to Dan Mandus on Nashville's Morning News and listen to how unassuming he is and how shy he seems and how just, nice and kind and cordial.
It's the Swiftie in him that just jabs.
Oh, man. Off the air, an assassin. Just cut to the heart. We'll be back in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. It's becoming the busy time of year for Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, and he wants to remind you, if you are a good HVAC technician or installer, or if you're interested in a new opportunity, Efficient is hiring. They are growing by leaps and bounds, and they want to see you at Efficient Heating and Cooling. All you need to do is contact them by going to their website that I'm going to give you in just a moment, or call them on their number and talk to Jeff Eddy and Efficient. Efficient Heating and Cooling is a small company with big service and big results. I trust that Jeff Eddy and his crew will do the right thing the first time, and they've proven it time and time and time again. It's as simple as this. If you need maintenance maintenance on your unit, and you do because the AC hasn't been run for a while, so you need to check that thing, you'll never pay over $125 for a maintenance call with Jeff Eddy, and oftentimes it's much less than that. He's not going to try to upsell you on anything. Oftentimes he'll tell you everything's right as rain, but if it's time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they're going to put you in the right direction. Go to 615-784-4424. Call that number, 615-784-4424, or go to efficienthvac.net. That's efficienthvac.net. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's talk for a moment about Grace Point Healthcare. They are affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine right here in Middle Tennessee, and Franklin, to be more precise. You know, if you are sick, odds are you call your primary care physician, and you're not going to get in today or tomorrow or probably not this week. I mean, sad as it is to say, but nowadays most physicians just don't operate that way. Well, at Grace Point Healthcare, they do. They like to call themselves modern medicine the old-fashioned way, and it truly is exhibited in everything that they do. Number one, they do not allow the insurance companies to get in the way of the relationship between you and your physician. It is why they are a direct pay company. As a direct pay primary care provider, it means all of your treatment decisions are made by you, not by the insurance company. Secondarily, whether you're paying by the visit or enrolling in the Smart Care Plan, you're going to pay, odds are, less than you do at other places. The Smart Care Plan is just $69 a month, and you have unlimited office visits for that $69 a month throughout the course of the year, plus free basic labs and diagnostics. That's the way it should be. And at Grace Point Healthcare, that's the way that it is. They're located in Franklin, and you're invited to schedule your next appointment today at 599-6868. Tell them I sent you. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way.
Shredding documents at USAID. This story in the day's closing money news at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, sir. Ken Weaver. There's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name's Matt Murphy. I'm over here in Studio A. Mason Fleming is between. You can call us if you desire. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Ukraine today accepted a deal put forward by the Trump administration during a meeting in Saudi Arabia, which is a significant step forward. I know that the mainstream media doesn't like it. Apparently, they don't want to report on it, but it is happening. Right now, there are sources, according to some within media circles, primarily CNN I'm looking at right now, that say that there are firings going on in the Department of Education. Well, why wouldn't there be? Guys, It is amazing to me how little the political left and the mainstream media, but I repeat myself, how little they seem to care about the fact that we are $36.5 trillion in debt. We are going on $37 trillion in debt. It is a difficult number to conceive. It's difficult to understand how much a billion is, much less a trillion. It's difficult to understand how quickly we got here. It feels like just yesterday we were talking about 20 trillion. And then look what happened. COVID. By the way, 5th year anniversary of COVID-19 being declared a national and international pandemic. The World Health Organization on this day, March 10th, 5 years ago. Where were y'all? What were y'all doing? Y'all remember where you were?
I was here.
Ken Weaver was right here.
I was here, and we were told to go home.
Were y'all?
Yep.
Did you have to broadcast from home for a long time, Ken?
I did not.
Okay, you got, as news director, I think, because the news departments were exempted from.
Yeah, I got to come back in here because at the time, Charlie Cook, who was the operations manager, he knew I was back here all by myself in this little bitty room. And
no, that was the case in Birmingham. You know, our company, like so many others, I don't begrudge the manner in which companies treated this from the beginning. Because they didn't know what to believe. They didn't know who to believe. And they looked to what they considered to be trusted resources, giving them information about what to do and what not to do. Yeah. And our company, like many, many other companies, they were relying on information that proved to be either faulty or just made up.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the information that we got about COVID-19 was just made up. Stay 6 feet away from one another. Made up.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like a good idea at the time. Hey, if we keep everybody away from one another and we just walk, I can't even say it without laughing. If we'll let everybody in grocery stores, but they can only go one way down the aisles.
Right.
That'll do it.
Right. Also, keep your mask on until you get seated at your restaurant. Then you can take it off.
Well, because everybody knows that it won't transmit from the table.
No.
No, of course not.
No, you're too busy eating.
What were you doing, Mason?
I was actually on a trip to Washington, D.C.
Where are you now?
I was visiting some friends in
middle school.
Nope.
That was a joke.
It was elementary school, 5th grade. No, I hadn't been, and we were close by visiting some friends for a church plant in Virginia, and we like, you know what, we'll take the day to go to good old D.C. Check out some museums.
Yeah,
we had to turn around and head all the way back home because everything was shutting down.
It was a weird day, man. It was. We had a sponsor, a place called Iron City, which was a music venue in Birmingham, and I was good friends with the owner. And I was program director in Birmingham. And we were told it was not today, it was a couple of weeks maybe later that we were told that we were going to have to be broadcasting remotely. And we were live and local, much like Super Talk is live and local. We were told that everyone has to stay at home, non-essential, and they designated essential employees as like the engineering department, one board operator, and someone in the newsroom. But other than that, if you were a host, they were going to provide you with the remote equipment and you could broadcast from home. Program directors, not exempt. You are broadcasting from home or you are programming from home. And I tried to figure out a different way around this because I was convinced, Ken, that this would be 3 weeks and we'd be back to normal.
Well, yeah, remember it was only supposed to be a 2-week shutdown.
2 weeks to stop the spread.
Yeah, 2 weeks to stop the spread.
That's what they told us. 2 weeks to stop the spread. I remember that. And, boy, it didn't turn out to be 2 weeks, did it?
No.
It's amazing how the government, even with Donald Trump at the helm, and I don't fault Donald Trump for a lot of this. Donald Trump was relying on people that were not honest actors. Anthony Fauci was not an honest actor. It was the greatest boondoggle in U.S. government history, and I defy you to tell me a worse one. They just made things up. Wear this mask, don't wear that mask. Anthony Fauci told the truth originally, and then he had to back off of it. He said, wearing masks, it's not going to really help you that much. Don't worry about it. And then like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, he's like, you better mask up. Anything is better than nothing, they said. All of a sudden. And then suddenly you got people wearing, you had people wearing like plastic pie plates on their face that they would tape on their heads. I mean, just the stupidest things imaginable. looking back on that period of time, there was a lot of confusion early on. There was a lot of concern, and I think rightly so. We didn't know what we were dealing with, and there's nothing wrong with admitting. And I understand there's a group of people that want to pretend that they knew exactly what was going on from the jump, from the moment go,
the get go.
And I don't play that. I didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what we were dealing with. We didn't know what was true and what was fiction. It turned out a lot of it was fiction.
Yeah,
and turned out the government will seize. I'll say this, the government will seize any and every opportunity that it sees presented in front of it, whether intentional or unintentional, to seize control and power of your everyday life. They do not, sadly, the deep state within government does not believe that you have the ability to act like an adult, and they're going to treat you like a child. And this was the best example in our lifetimes of government attempting to do this. And eventually, the people started pushing back, and rightly so. 5 years later, 31 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And a senior official with USAID sent an email this morning to remaining bureau leaders to shred or burn classified safes and personnel documents. The message urging officials to, quote, shred as many documents first, and to, quote, reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. The email sent by Acting Executive Secretary Erica Carr at 9:30 this morning saying the event will take place all day. So far, no comment from the Trump administration. House Republicans have passed a bill to fund the government through the end of September. It was a slim majority that approved the bill. 217 to 213. The bill got no support from House Democrats and now goes to the U.S. Senate. Money News, Michelle Franzen.
A whiplash day for stocks on Wall Street as markets tried to recover from yesterday's losses, but dropped again. The Dow lost 478 points. The Nasdaq ended down 32. And the S&P lost 42 points. The S&P 500 is flirting with correction territory. The index is more than 10% below its all-time high. The back-and-forth swings are a result of investors worried about President Trump's economic moves and how much they're willing to take. The latest tariff threat, Canadian metals. Airlines say they're starting to see Americans change their spending habits with fewer bookings. They point to economic uncertainty and several recent crashes. The NTSB is strongly recommending the FAA ban some helicopter flights in the wake of the American Airlines Black Hawk crash in January. No longer will bags fly free. Southwest Airlines will soon charge customers a fee to check bags, starting with bookings on May 28th.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, looks like we got a crash 65 northbound after Rosa Parks Boulevard. Police reporting that one. Other than that, just the usual slowdowns. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
When a couple walks into Genesis Diamonds, their eyes get so big because if you've never been into Genesis Diamonds, you've probably not seen the selection of diamonds like they have at Genesis in both of their locations, Cool Springs and Green Hills. It's a mind-blowing display of sparkling jewelry, literally thousands of choices when it comes to engagement rings. All of the styles she's been seeing online are right there in front of her to try on. But the experts at Genesis are going to make this feel totally at ease. They'll offer you a beverage as you walk around the showroom. They'll ask you some questions, and they'll answer a lot of questions and truly provide you with a diamond buying education. They're not afraid of that at Genesis Diamonds because they know they have the lowest prices in town. They cut out the middleman to ensure of that. And you can see the Genesis difference because they're going to teach you the difference in cut, clarity, and what to look for when you're diamond buying. And if you want to go out into the world, they'll send you out into the world, and you can go to any other diamond store that you want because they know that you'll be back to Genesis. Genesis is simply the best. Genesis Diamonds, a true direct diamond importer, rock bottom prices, and a luxury experience. I encourage you to experience this for yourself for the next occasion, an anniversary, a birthday, or a just because. It's Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs. Yeah, 638 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Indeed. The Matt Murphy Show continues. Pleased to have you along for the ride. I have, I could do this now. Well, I got a couple of Nashville things to tell you about, and then I have 14 laws in the state of Tennessee that you won't believe. I got that coming up in just a second. 14 laws in the state of Tennessee that you won't believe. So Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire. That is the Trump administration facilitating this. Whether or not they get Russia to the table remains to be seen. But Ukraine has agreed to it. That's good, right? Got a rare earth minerals deal on the table. I mean, I remember a time, I'm old enough to remember when everybody said they wanted peace. I'm old enough to remember when we recognized that if you want to facilitate a peace before one side is beaten, that you expect that both sides will get some form of concession in order to arrange and negotiate that peace. Democrats don't seem to want peace very much anymore today. Democrats seem more interested in causing and sowing the seeds of chaos, which is something they tried to do earlier today in the halls of Congress as every Democrat voting, it's my understanding, and that would put to bed this budgetary cycle. It is not a way, let me be clear, this is not a way to run a government. It's not a way to pass a budget. It is wrong, it is bad, it is awful, it is horrible, it's gross. But it is all we have right now. And I appreciate the fact that Republicans saw fit to vote for this thing, and Donald Trump lobbied for it pretty hard. And I suppose that Massey voted against it. I can only imagine that he did. I think that's the way that he would go in that. I have not seen the vote breakdown, but I can only assume that he did. He always does. And that's fine. Donald Trump came out against Thomas Massey and, said some nasty things about him, but they don't like one another that much anyway. So I don't think that changes the dynamic very much. And it turns now to the Senate. What does the Senate do? Rand Paul has already expressed his disgust with the budgetary cycle and the continuing resolution, saying that if we really are interested in cutting out some of these pork projects, we need to do it right now with the CR. I don't believe that we have the ammunition to do it right now with the CR, considering the Democrats are willing to blow this thing up. As I said at the beginning of the show, you're dealing with a razor-thin majority in the House, a razor-thin majority in the Senate. Democrats can blow it up in the Senate if they want because you need a 60-vote threshold to eliminate filibuster. But will they? Right now, I expect that you'll have at least 51, if not 52 Republicans willing to vote for this deal. Are 8 Democrats willing to go along with it? Are 8 Democrats who are up for re-election willing to get a CR down the road? What they are proposing, what they have proposed, John Roberts, come on, man. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said earlier today that as he was advocating for advancing the bill, he said earlier today, look, this has no cuts in Medicaid, no cuts in Social Security, no cuts in Medicare. House Republicans passed it. It was a continuing resolution that will fund government to ensure veterans receive the care that they have earned. Democrats yelled from the sidelines. President Trump supported the measure, and it was passed to keep the lights on in Washington while they attempt to figure out what they're going to do next. What happens next is ultimately up to the United States Senate. Just listen to Mike Johnson as he defended the legislation. This is about 5 hours ago before the actual vote was taken.
They either have an issue with reading comprehension, or they are attempting to run one of the most shameful misinformation campaigns that we've ever seen in our lives. We filed that the CR, the continuing resolution, on Saturday, and as was noted, they had already come out panning the bill that literally had not yet been seen. They said, quote, this is the House Democrat leadership team's statement on Friday. Remember, the bill was filed on Saturday afternoon. On Friday, they said, quote, Republicans have decided to introduce a partisan continuing resolution that threatens to cut funding for health care, nutritional assistance, and veterans benefits through the end of the year. Every single word of that is a lie. They just made it up. They didn't read the bill. It's nonsense. People are not buying this. And you see the contrast between one party, which is leading, moving the ball forward for the American people, and the other that is just screaming. Then the Democrats start parroting this talking point in interviews all weekend on CNN. They said, quote, it's so harmful to the American people. You know, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, threatening Social Security, cutting veteran benefits. It's all a lie. You can all read the bills, 99 pages. This clean CR contains no poison pill riders, no policy riders there at all. No cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, 0. No cuts to veterans benefits, 0. In fact, as was noted, we plus up the accounts for veterans. And respectfully, I'm just going to say this to every reporter in the room, that if you're allowing Democrats to make these intentionally false, scurrilous claims without pushback, then you're aiding and abetting the spreading this misinformation. I would just ask you to call them on it. The American people deserve that. They deserve that clarity from our press corps. Make them point it out to you. They
say what you will about Speaker Mike Johnson, and I understand that there are some that don't like him. I do. I do believe that he is a conservative person. I think he's been handed a bad bill of goods. I think that, sadly, he had to operate under the Biden administration for the last year of the Biden's presidency, whoever was in control. He is getting his sea legs underneath him with regard to, I mean, this is a resolution, and I understand it's not good. It's not a way to run a railroad. I don't like it any more than you do. But it is what it is. This is a budget that should have been taken care of last September. It is now March. It is time to talk about the next budgetary process, to begin regular order. If we expect to advance the ball, matriculate the ball down the field, boys, if we expect to do that, then we've got to get this behind us and I expect that we need to do it now. I think it will set us up better for the budget down the road. Can we actually pass a budget and not a CR? I think we've passed like a good, I mean, it's like 200 and something CRs in a row. It's a ridiculous number. I read it last night. The last time we passed a budget, it's been decades since we passed a budget, friends. An actual budget. Is now the time? I don't know. I don't know because I don't know that anything will go far enough to satisfy certain members of the House of Representatives on the Republican side. And I think the Democrats are willing to blow the country up. Blow the country up for their own loss of power and control. They are willing to do that. We're about to find out how far they're willing to go. Chuck Schumer has some control in the United States Senate. Here's what I would do. If I'm John Thune in the Senate, you make them filibuster. You make them show up and do it. If they declare that they're going to filibuster this CR, then make them do it. Through the shutdown. You can make them do it. Right now, the threat of the filibuster pulls the bill off the table. Let's not have that happen. Change the rules in such a way where members present, not members voting, members present have the ability to clog the works with a filibuster and make them filibuster. And they can hand it off all they want. If they have enough people, they can clog the works, but you make them do it. Because that's what we're talking about when we're talking about a 60-vote threshold. To end debate in the United States Senate. I'm ready to go. I've got my popcorn ready, and I'm ready to see it. In the meantime, 14 weirdest laws in Tennessee that are relatively unbelievable, but also totally real. Y'all ready for this? I almost don't have enough time to do it now that I've done that on the CR.
Speed run.
Number 1, it is illegal to sell hollow logs in Tennessee. True.
I got to make a call real quick.
Supposedly, the reasoning behind this is that unscrupulous log dealers may attempt to sell hollow logs as solid wood to unsuspecting purchasers. Solid wood obviously burns better and longer. Number 2, carrying a skunk across state borders is a no-no. Not allowed to transport a skunk. Number 3, in Oneida or Oneida, I don't know which it is. Somebody on the super text line will tell me. It is technically considered illegal for a woman to call a man on the telephone. Yeah.
Why though?
To ask him out on a date. That's why. You can you can call a guy on the telephone. You can't call him on the telephone and ask him out on a date. So the good news is this law is not enforced. The only animal, let's see if you can guess, Mason, the only animal that it is legal to shoot out of a moving car via the window. It is a weird law, and don't ask me the background on it. I'm trusting my source here. The only animal that it is legal to shoot out of a moving car via the window is?
Raccoon.
A whale.
I should have known in the good old Middle Tennessee.
In Tennessee, we've got so much ocean
so many
front
people
property.
are whaling around here.
Number 5, if 8 or more women are living together in Tennessee, the house is considered a brothel.
Better tell the sorority girls. It's unfortunate.
I'm just reading the news, man. Number 6, spitting on the sidewalk in Lexington is illegal. Obviously, keeping a clean sidewalk is important in a small town in Tennessee like Lexington, and it's a pretty weird law. Number 7, not a good idea, but did you know it's actually a misdemeanor to tattoo a minor? Not a minor like
Working
digging for gold, like a minor, like a minor.
Oh, like a child.
Like a little person. That's right. Number 8, it is illegal to hold hands on school property in the state of Tennessee. Like, I didn't get any clarification as to whether or not this was like elementary school or in public school.
Yeah.
But apparently it is, holding hands is currently illegal to do so on school grounds for small kids, for minors. Number 9, it is completely legal to pick up roadkill in the state of Tennessee and fried up, as long as it is a non-protected species.
Dang.
And you're required to notify the TWRA or law enforcement. Number 10, Oneida again. In Oneida, the song "It Ain't Going to Rain No Mo" is actually outlawed. They had some weird laws in Oneida. And I don't even know where Oneida or Oneida is.
I don't either.
Number 11, as of 2011, sharing your Netflix account password is illegal in Tennessee. Well, I mean, that's for, I think
that's everybody.
I think it's obviously for purposes of not trying to steal from the Netflix folks.
I won't tell if you don't.
I'll tell you my password. Apparently everybody knows it because all of my crap got hacked. Sadly, the art of lassoing a fish is lost on Tennessee cowboys. It is illegal to lasso a fish in the state of Tennessee. Number 13, just in case there's something you were planning on doing, it is illegal to drive in Tennessee if you are asleep. Once again, illegal to drive in the state of Tennessee if you are asleep.
I've never been asleep, but I've nodded off a little bit.
That's illegal. That's against the law.
I'm not fully asleep.
Well,
almost.
You know what a buddy of mine said to do? And this makes a lot of sense. He was an open road, like an over-the-road driver.
Like truck driver?
Long-haul driver.
Yeah.
He said that when he got tired, he would drive with the one hand, and he would take his left hand, and he would hold a hammer and it would be directed into his lap.
Above his C.O. Jones?
Yeah, right. Right above his C.O. Jones. So he's holding the hammer, and it was like in his lap, and so he's driving. And so if he got tired enough that he lost grip on the hammer would fall right on the mommy-daddy button.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Right on his twig and berries.
That'll keep you awake.
Frank and beans. Yeah. I mean, any port in a storm, I suppose. And number 14, it is illegal in the state of Tennessee to carry an ice cream cone in the back of your pocket, in your back pocket. Ice cream in your back pocket was supposedly an effective method of stealing a horse who would be tempted by the sweet treat. Incidentally, it's still technically on the books, and you can be hanged for horse theft in the state of Tennessee. There you go. There are some things that are illegal in the state of Tennessee. 14 of them, I got them all in. It's 52 after the hour. We'll wrap it up next on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy here, and I'm talking about my friends at the wonderful Glock Store and why we are so lucky to have them in the city of Nashville. And we really are. They came some years ago, could have gone anywhere. One of the reasons the Glock Store is so popular is, well, because they are the Glock Store. And Glocks are the most popular handgun in America. One of the reasons for that, the wide availability of customized and performance parts. And from competition triggers to red dot optics to night sights to magwells to extended controls. They have it all at the Glock Store. There's just too many of this customization to mention in one commercial. But rest assured, if it is for a Glock, they have it at the Glock Store. It's right there in the name, Glock Store. And we're so lucky to have them in Nashville because of the retail showroom. We can go and see these things for ourselves. People all over the country buy them online at glockstore.com. We can look at these things for ourselves, feel of them, and when we get ready to buy, Glock Store is open for business, and they have a gunsmith on site, and that gunsmith will install your part for free while you wait. How about that? A lot of reasons to love the Glock Store. This is just one of them. Free parts installation, that is. And I encourage you to stop by and say hello to the friendly gang at the Glock Store. They're on Airlane Drive, which is just off Elm Hill Pike, which is just off Briley Parkway. As a matter of fact, they're minutes away from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. The one and only Glock Store online, glockstore.com or shoot270.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, it's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We're winding down for another day. Pleased that you've decided to join us. Man, oh man, when I get these login alerts now, I pay so much attention. I get so freaked out. By the way, did I tell the story about how fast I got my headphones? I did, didn't I? Right at the beginning of the show. Sometimes I can't remember. It was incredible. I mean, like 4 hours. Steven says, I heard you mention the roadkill law. I corrected a roadkill deer today. It had a 10-inch long baby inside, hooves, ears. Ooh. Okay. Look, 7997 is trying to find photos of us, and he found one that he says is the only one that I could find of Mason, and it looks like Tom Selleck from. I mean, you kind of gotta.
That's very kind.
I mean, put on a Detroit Tigers hat, and I don't think we could tell the difference. You know,
he's got a much better mustache than I ever will.
Magnum PI and Dave.
Yeah.
6174 says y'all suck when it comes to answering the phone. I don't know what to tell you. I don't control that aspect of the game. Mason Fleming is the man, though. You don't cast aspersions at my boy.
Watch yourself.
That's exactly right. That does it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow, a Wednesday edition. Cameron Smith will be along, and we look forward to talking with you. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well.